Hey guys, Drifter here. Welcome to my live Q&A. Today I'm taking questions and answering them live from you guys, the audience. And instead of doing that via text or donation or reading the chat or something like that, what I'm going to be doing today is a bit more special. I'm going to be having little sit-down fireside chats with you via Discord. My Discord link is down there in the description. I've made 5 Discord rooms that I can hop in and out of for questions so people can queue up. Just me and you, and we'll chat for a bit and I'll move along. Feel free to ask me anything you like about YouTube-related issues, copyright issues, how fun the demonetization thing is, my opinions on Call of Duty, PubG, Overwatch, Destiny, any of these sort of games, or just some personal stuff. Just whatever you're feeling like, I'm down for. I want to say hello to Arjun, iStylish, Devil, Bobby Trap, Max Plight, Jammy Man, Defunking, Radio Player, Spamula, Manbear Pig. Got a lot of people coming in today. Just wanted to say hello to as many as I can. I'm going to turn this volume down just a smidge on my end so it's not too loud. And I'm going to hop into Discord and take question number 1 from Shingo Kirishima. I believe that is the name. Hello?
Let's do this, Marines.
Shingo.
Oh, hi. Sorry, I had my
What's up,
mic
man?
muted. Oh, nothing. Oof. So, it's kind of hard to find some questions, but, yeah.
No worries, take your time. How you... And apparently I'm echoing here in Discord, which is a little bit... Not Discord,
The stream?
Yeah, it's being a bit strange on me. Okay, hopefully that fixed everything. Can you say something?
Hello?
Hello? Say something?
Hello?
Perfect. Alright, we're working. Alright, you ready for a question?
Sure, I guess I'll ask you this one question. So, you know
Okay.
how... Alright, I know you were trying... I remember seeing in the comments, like, a while ago, in depths, that you wanted to distance yourself from Xbox Ahoy.
Mm-hmm.
But, well, you know, now he's not... I don't think he's doing gun guides for, like, Call of Duty anymore.
No, he's on to very different things.
Yeah, I know, like, guns. But, you know, for Call of Duty World War II, you wouldn't mind doing a small bit of, like, history lesson for each gun that you do, or would that be too much Xbox Ahoy-ish?
It would be very similar to Xbox Ahoy. A small history lesson wouldn't bother me at all. Though, the problem being, I'm not an expert on World War II weapons, quite far from it. And I don't want to get things wrong. I don't want to be the guy that screws up all that history and does some shenanigans.
Well, that's... Alright. Well, that's a pretty good question I asked.
No, it's no
But
worries.
nah, you do...
And also, one of the things that is difficult is that real-life guns are way more complicated than in-game guns. It's just... God, how would I say it? They just have so much more going on. There's ballistics, there's muzzle velocity, there's drag, there's personal feedback that people have to fight with. There's so many different intangible things with a real gun that I can't quantify like I can an in-game weapon, that I feel like I'm gonna get out-experted. It's like the internet argument. If I get on the internet right now and I say my favorite weapon is a Glock, and that is true, my favorite weapon is a Glock. I really enjoy those. I'll have
really wanna
18
go
different weapon experts hop in and tell me why Glocks are terrible weapons and why I should be using a Kimber M1911 and some things like that.
Alright. Well, yeah, that sounds good. Like, you know what, like, remember in Call of Duty World War II how the dev said, hey, the grease gun is the best KD weapon?
Mm-hmm.
Like, when I was playing it in the beta, it felt really good to me. I mean, I'm not really big on high fire rate weapons like the WAF or the MP28. And, well, I'm like, okay, 450 RPM is very controllable, but no, in Call of Duty World War II, it's like 500 RPM. The grease gun fires at 500 RPM.
Yeah, they're not historically different. The WAF, so the WAF is the fast-firing one, but in COD World War II, in reality, it's like really slow. And like the PPSH is pretty slow in COD World War II, but in reality, it's like stupidly fast. Hey, Peter Jenkins, nice to see you. Hello, D. Preston, good to see you too, man. Alright, well, I'm gonna hop on to room number 2 and see what's going on.
Alright, can't wait for COD World War II in depth. It's gonna be great.
Thank you. I got shot there. Hi, Psy Unit. What's up, Psy Unity, I should say. Nice to see you.
Hey, nice to see you, my dude. So first thing is, would it be okay if I use the recording of your stream in a religion project that I'm doing?
No, that would be just... Sorry, I should say that is okay, yes. Do as you see fit.
Okay, cool. So my question to you is, what's your inspiration for doing like your philosophical videos? Like when you did the "Don't be a doormat" and the Dunning-Kruger effect. What was your inspiration for doing those?
Well, I just enjoyed having those kinds of discussions, and those things are important to me. It's also important for the channel not just to be a gameplay or Call of Duty channel, but to do something a little bit more than that. So I talk about any subject that I come across, randomly or not, that ends up being important. Sometimes that's Dunning-Kruger, sometimes it's a life lesson that I learn along the way, sometimes it's some really cool thing I read on the internet. But the point being that it was something that's something more than just gaming, something more meaningful than just learning how to quickscope on Call of Duty. Because I feel like I have a platform here, a nice big platform with which to talk to people and to make changes and to reach out and communicate. And it would be an absolute shame if I let that go to waste. That's not to say that I want a political channel or that I want to do mind control or push people toward one decision or another, but it just seems... If you had the opportunity to talk to so many people, what would you say? What would you do? Would you do nothing? I think that would just be wasteful.
Yeah, no, 100% agree with that. Thanks, man. Appreciate the answer.
Anytime, no worries. Alright, I'm gonna hop on out to the next chat room, which has... I know this guy, I know who was there first, because I keep notes. Hello, Hayden. Nice to see you.
Hey, I'm on my phone, so I don't know what the call is going to be like. But
Oh, no worries. I can hear you loud and clear.
alright, cool. My question is, what was your favorite game to do in-depth in?
My favorite game to do in-depth in? Cold Guts, thank you for following on Twitch. My favorite game to do in-depth in is... probably Black Ops 2. I really, really got into Black Ops 2. I really enjoyed that game.
I mean, that blew up as well, didn't it? That in-depth blew up as well, didn't it?
Yes, it
really
did.
big.
It was very successful in that regard. And it just, it was fun for me because they had a great deal of balance. They had a great deal of subtleties like shooting down the Hellstorm. The attachments did a lot of very interesting things. There was a lot going on with Black Ops 2 under the hood of the game that was just very fun to dig into. And I think a lot of games after Black Ops 2 were ultimately just copies of that game.
Yeah.
And by the way,
actually
Hayden
started
and other
watching
people, can you hear the slight echo that I do that I'm playing? Or is that my imagination?
In the stream?
Yeah.
Or in Discord? I'm not listening to the stream. I was,
So
but
I
I
gotta
muted
crouch and block my
it.
rush.
I couldn't in the time.
But after Black Ops 2, I would say my favorite game was probably Advanced Warfare. I loved AW because they had so many strange weapons, so many goofy mechanics, so many really unusual things to get into. Like Call of Duty guns, some of the most important parts you can break down are just the damage and rate of fire. And you can ignore the recoil and some other sort of things to kind of determine their usefulness. But AW had a lot of interesting mechanics that just other games did not have.
Yeah, that's... Advanced Warfare was actually one of my favorite COD games, even though I know it's an unpopular opinion. Just because it was so different.
Yes, alright, well it's good to talk to you. I'm gonna go take a knee over here and move on to the next person in the Discord chat.
Alright, cool.
Hey, Killer Ace, USAF. Nice to see you.
Hello. So
How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. This is the first time we've spoken, but you've been in my streams for a long time.
Yes, I mean, I still remember when you had like 10,000 subs and stuff.
That's been a little while.
Yes. So I guess my first question is, what do you like to do outside of like YouTube and gaming and stuff? Like, what do you do for like fun and such?
Well, it's going to be a very nerdy answer there. I really enjoy reading, watching movies, that sort of stuff. Anything that stimulates the brain. And a lot of my hobbies are gaming related. It takes up a lot of time here, even as a job and stuff, but it's good that I enjoy what I do for a living, because I really enjoy playing games, so this just is right up my alley. Outside of gaming, which I know was the question, I have a penchant for getting myself in trouble. I like to bite off more than I can chew. And the answer will be, it's like, oh, what do you want to do today? And I'm like, let's go ride horses, or go-karts, or let's do this strange thing, and I will keep... If you ask me what you think we should do or I should do, it's always going to be something more extreme than what a sane person would. It's like, oh man, what are you going to do? It's like, let's buy a plane ticket to Seattle and just go, or let's always just go, just, I don't know if I'm coming up with sane answers here.
Well, that makes
I didn't
sense.
expect that guy to turn around. I gotta hold myself back from that, because I get in trouble, like, so when we went to Japan on vacation, one of the things I wanted to do was climb Mount Fuji, and by that I mean climb the pole of Mount Fuji, right?
Yeah.
So, I looked it up, and the next to last day we were going to be in Japan was the first day of climbing season where the snow was melted enough to where it should be safe. It should be safe.
Should be safe, yes.
Right. And they're like, recommended not for novice climbers, and I'm like, I can do this anyway. And I tell my wife about it, she's not super impressed. And then I also see that when you get halfway up, you need to buy an oxygen tank.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, perfect, look, Jessica, the oxygen tank rentals are right there, all nice and cheap, right? We can do this easy. And then it's like, oh, and you're supposed to spend the night here to let your body readjust. And there were all these really complicated things going on with climbing Mount Fuji, oxygen tanks, inclement weather, letting your body adjust to the altitude, all kinds of stuff like that. And me, I'm just like, yeah, let's do it. And if we do it just like this, if we go really early, as soon as it opens, climb the whole mountain, then we can climb back down the mountain and get on a bus and go straight to the airport, and we'll make it there just in time to go back to America. And wife is like, yeah, how about not? How about we don't do that?
Yeah.
So... Yeah, the last time I got to plan an adventure or a date with my wife, I took her horseback riding out here in Texas. Just
I love horseback riding. I used
ride
to
horses.
take lessons when I lived in Spain.
You lived in Spain?
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. Lived all over the world. I lived in Korea, Spain, Romania. But I guess my other question is, like, what type of YouTube stuff do you watch? Like, what other stuff?
Often a lot of really lowbrow stuff, to be honest with you. I do enjoy Joe Go's Badge of Shame. I think that channel's hilarious. I watch Commenticate, Internet Comment Etiquette.
Yeah.
I watch a little bit of Donkey. Other stuff is more random. I'll see little bits and pieces of other YouTubers. Those are really the only three I can think of following offhand. But I do watch PubG content, often montages. And I'll watch Overwatch competitive, a little bit of League of Legends stuff, even still. And sometimes just really dumb stuff, because I think YouTube is, in my mind, simple entertainment, at least for me.
Yes.
I know, which is funny, because people come to my videos for, like, higher brow entertainment. But for me, when I'm done with the day and I just want to relax, I'm just going to get on YouTube and look up some very simple videos and not overthink anything.
If you want that, look up a playlist called Important Videos. It's 309 videos of that type of stuff.
Okay, I'll give it a go. Is there
And
a dude
then,
right there?
is there anything you want added to, like, PubG? Like guns or anything like that?
I want horses in the desert map. I think that would be the best thing they could add. Horses in the desert map. And I think that the way the gun mechanics work in that game need to be redone. I don't like that my gun looks down at the ground whenever I get too close to a window or a door. It really screws up how I shoot and move around, so it's kind of a big mess. But it was good taking some questions for you. I'm going to move on to number 5, and I'll catch you later.
No problem.
All right, we're on to number 5. Packer, nice to see you.
See you, Drift.
How are you doing, man?
I'm doing good. What about you?
I am waking up for the day. I kind of got a really camped in a corner. I got a very, very slow start. Supposed to have done this hours ago.
I prepared 3 questions for you, so I'll try to make it quick, let you get on to
Okay.
other people.
No worries. What you got?
In school, what was your favorite subject, and how could you relate it to your current job?
What was my favorite subject? It'd probably be math, and the relation to my current job is pretty obvious. I don't think that math was super fun to me in the traditional sense, in that it was like, yeah, let's go math it up. Math time. Love crunching numbers, but just that I was learning things in relationships that made sense. Because I view math as a language. Math is a method of communicating something complicated or something precise. It's a tool that you can use at the same time. It's kind of interesting that it's both. And the things I learned in math and the teachers I had showed me how math could be useful, how you could use trigonometry to calculate land area or do surveying. They showed me how you could use calculus to study population statistics. They showed me how math and science overlap. They showed me how financial tools model or behavior will mimic physical phenomena via mathematics. And these relationships I found very interesting. Whereas history was kind of interesting. It was reading stories. I hated the way that it was taught and that it was memorization, but I mean, it is things that already happened, so that kind of makes sense. English I had a lot of disdain for, which is odd given all the public speaking I do now. But I didn't like the way it was taught in that it was almost like a philosophy class, and that I was expected to dig deeper into everything, and that the true way to understand everything is to assume that nothing on the surface level is true, and that everything has to have a deeper level of symbolism or meaning or something complicated, that it couldn't just mean its own thing.
It's
Hope
like
I didn't
I've
get too
always...
rambly on you there.
Yeah, it's fine. I was listening. It's kind of like how I've had teachers, like sixth grade teacher, is like, math is only practical when it's put on a piece of paper. And I would get in trouble all the time for disagreeing on how I thought that math should be used and how she thought math should be used. It's like math is a practical. It's practical in the idea, like, okay, you're driving down the highway.
Mm-hmm.
You're using geometry, but you don't. It's like subconscious math.
Mm-hmm.
Where the way the teacher was teaching it is like, oh, 5 plus 5 equals C. I don't know, and then measure of angle ABC is equal to 5 plus 7 degrees.
No, that's computation, which is important. Math is understanding why those relationships exist and what they mean.
Yeah, but she was kind of focusing around the idea that computation is all of math. There's nothing else.
Well, her students are going to be judged on their computational abilities and not their understanding.
Which is kind of sad, in my opinion.
I agree. All right, time for me to move on to the next Discord room. It was nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you, too. See you later, Brett.
You too. Okay, let's go on to Q&A room numero uno. Mika is in here, but I do know that Zuffin was... Oh, God, there's more people. All right. Christ, let's do this. I'm going to schedule Mika. Mika is now scheduled in room 5, and I'm going to take Zuffin. Hello. Zuffin, you there? Hello?
Oh, sorry. Mic was
No
muted.
worries.
Yeah.
What's up?
So, with all this huge new industry in esports,
Mm-hmm.
and PubG being this huge new game with 10 million copies sold, what do you think they could do to make it the best esport they can? Because it's inevitable that it will be turned into the esport.
You're
like
right,
it or
but
not.
I don't know if it should be. I don't know if PUBG needs to be an esport to be successful. It does very well on its own just as a streaming game. And at the end of the day, the things that people most enjoy about it are the casual aspects of it. I don't think that the super hardcore, sweaty, competitive parts of PUBG are the parts that people really go for. All that being said, for competitive, they're going to really need to balance the gas and how the positioning works, because the gas healing strategy is just not acceptable for a competitive game, and there needs to be some incentive to actually go and fight people, because otherwise it turns into competitive hide and seek, which is largely what you saw at the tournament. Like, there were a few big plays, and the goal of the game is survival, right? So being first place should matter the most, but what if you get first place by sitting in a bush for 30 minutes? That doesn't translate as an exciting or super competitive esport. So there needs to be a lot of work done to the fundamentals of the game and how your placings work to make it an esport. And I don't know if that's going to be compatible with how the game plays. Not every game has to be an esport.
Well, I was thinking about this question myself, and I thought the only way they could make it a very entertaining esport to watch is if they made a very new game mode. Like, maybe they made some sort of King of the Hill mode that's actually, literally, King of the Hill. Or something like that. It'd have to be very innovative and something that was made to be entertaining to watch.
Right.
So,
I don't know
it
if-
has the foundation.
But would it be the same game, though?
I mean, what it is PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, and the battleground can be anything that the developer wants. So, I'm just spitballing here.
Well, comparatively, what I mean is, but would it have the same appeal to people that haven't played before ever? Like, one of the issues, I think, the major issues with Call of Duty esports, is that if you go and watch competitive Call of Duty, it just does not look like what I'm playing right now. It has little to no semblance of this. This is not competitive Call of Duty. It doesn't even look the same, but this is what 90+% of people play. And if they can't relate to that, when they can't boot up the game and play the esport mode, or have it fit in with the game fantasy, it's a very poor match, in my opinion. That's one of the things that League of Legends and Counter-Strike does really well. Like, do you play either of those games?
I used to play a lot of Counter-Strike and watch a lot of it, too.
So then you know on Counter-Strike, if you want to, you can just boot it up and go play the exact same competitive that you see on ESL and stuff like that.
And one other thing is, what do you think about developers just building a game around esports? That's essentially what Capcom did with Street Fighter V, and a lot of people do not like playing that game.
I think it's a bad idea. I don't think esport games are necessarily fun ones for the general public to play, and I don't think, again, every game has to be an esport. There's a saturation limit. Like, esports are growing. There's going to be new esport games. There's going to be successful new esport games. But I don't think that every game is destined for that. It can't be, because if every game has its own huge esport, there was not enough audience to watch it. There needs to be a handful of high esport games. There can be competitive games. There can be games with spectators, but there can only be a few League of Legends and Counter-Strikes and whatnot before you have a ton of overlap. And I see stuff like, I'll pick on Quake on this one. It's like, Quake, the new, whatever the hell the Quake just launched, and it's, yeah, we're dropping this $1 million esport tournament on this game that nobody's played or tested, and we don't know how the rules work, and we don't know if it's going to be popular or not, but we know that our game is going to be the next esport because we built it for that, and I just think that's a poopy idea. I think you should take a game that becomes competitive or is competitive naturally and has a big audience and see if an esport can grow out of it.
That's what I think it should be as well, and I think that's the dark side of the industry that might happen in the years to come. So.
Well, I'm glad that we are in agreement there. I'm going to hop out. I'm going to talk to iMika next, so I'm going to move you out to, or if you don't mind hopping out to a different room, I'm grabbing iMika.
See you, Drifter.
See you, man. Astro, hold up for a second. Astro, I'm going to have to catch you in a second. I promised iMika next. iMika, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
What's up,
Hi,
man?
friend. It's good. I was thinking about asking some questions, something clever, but I couldn't come up with much. There are just 2 questions. I'll stick around after this if you don't mind. Maybe I'll come up with better ones. So, can I start?
Yeah, go for it. I'm all ears.
Okay, the first one. Do you have any news on Cod Online coming to US or Europe?
Well, we're getting COD PC for World War II, so probably not. In all honesty, every single person that I've asked at Activision has always told me that there are no plans to bring it to the US or Europe. And I don't think that I need inside information or special intel to answer as to why. COD Online was created because Chinese gamers do not pay for games. Chinese markets and Asian markets in general are very big on free-to-play, same with Russia. It's just not part of their culture, and if you make a $60 game like this Call of Duty, 95% plus of the players are just going to pirate it, and you've lost money.
So
the way to do it is to make it free to play, so they can boot up and they don't have to pay anything, and you can kind of game some microtransactions out of people and make money that way.
So do you think there will be another game, another COD game for free for Europe or USA? You know, Western
No.
Front.
Absolutely
You don't
not.
think so?
Because what do you think is going to make you more money? COD Online for free, or $60 COD every year that also has a pre-order edition and a $60 DLC and an esports package and all this kind of stuff and microtransactions? The $120 plus microtransactions is like 10 or 15 times more than any free-to-play game will ever make Activision.
Same way like if you use a subscription-based thing, right? It's not gonna make money.
No.
Interesting.
Not $60 a year money guaranteed sales.
And then another question I have. So have you seen the important videos playlist? All of it?
No, I haven't seen any of it. I just had another guy recommended that one to me.
Really? Oh yeah, I was thinking about that because I heard you said you're watching something else apart from doing your job and watching others. So you said you're watching other things, but I couldn't catch up on that. So what kind of content do you like apart from gaming?
Very simple, lowbrow kind of humor stuff. I watch Commentikit, I watch Joe Goes, I watch a little bit of Donkey. I don't look for anything too serious for the most part. I'm not doing YouTube video essays, I'm doing YouTube funny stuff.
Do you like following the drama stuff?
Absolutely not. The drama stuff is AIDS. I'm playing dumb here now too. Drama is just cancer. It's so cancer because very little of it ends up being real in the traditional sense. It usually is just some complete nonsense that's blown out of proportion.
I say, okay, thanks for having me. I'll not make others wait, so I'll be sticking around if it's possible for the another questions.
All right. Well, you can't stay in the chat because other people are wanting
I'll quit.
hop
Don't
out
worry.
and re-queue.
No problem. I'll keep your chat clean.
All right. Catch you later.
Thank you very much.
All right, Conduit, what's up, man? I've seen you there waiting. How you doing?
Hello.
Hello. Conduit, can you hear me?
Hello.
Hey, Conduit, what's up, dude? I'm coming through loud and clear.
Oh man, sorry.
No worries.
Yeah. Oh man, I just clicked into this Q&A and I just had to sit here and think of a question.
No worries, take your time.
So like, I'm thinking maybe like, I started playing COD around like COD 4, Modern Warfare 2, around that kind of time. Like the modern CODs, and I've always preferred them. So, and I know you like your World War 2 COD, and you liked Advanced Warfare, right?
Right. I liked Advanced Warfare. I know the community didn't.
Yeah, I didn't mind it actually.
Stuff, but I like the jetpacky, bouncy games. They're fun for me. I'm gonna stand up for a second. It's getting toasty in my room. Jetpacks and stuff like that don't really bother me. The lasers gets a little crazy, but advanced movement I always found very fun. I came in from playing Unreal and other very bouncy games, so it just felt very natural.
Yeah, I stopped playing COD after Modern Warfare 3, and I went back on it and at Advanced Warfare, so you could imagine how that felt for me, like with the advanced movement. Yeah,
it probably felt very alien to you.
Yeah, and just UAVs were not helping because people were moving so fast, and so for me, I kind of had like a bad taste in my mouth for like future games. But so I was just thinking, like, well, how would you feel about like more modern games, like especially with the rumors about Black Ops? Well, I don't really believe it, but Black Ops 4 being like a modern shooter, or maybe more modern games, or would you be happy with just more World War II based games?
I would like more modern games. I really would. We've had, not counting this game because it's a remake, there hasn't been a modern Call of Duty game in 5 years?
Since Modern Warfare 3, I guess.
Do you count Ghost as modern? A lot of people don't even want to count Ghost as
Not really, because that's what, 2050?
Something like that in this post-apocalyptic future. They used mostly real guns, but it was still
Yeah,
I
it still
don't
had that futury, cyberpunky kind of flavor, I guess.
It did. It did.
Yeah.
See if I can use this crazy gun. It's stupid. So this one thing that bothers me. So there's a Uzi here.
Yeah.
And I have fired the Uzi in all these COD games is a terrible weapon.
Yeah.
I have fired Uzis in real life, and they are fantastic. Beautiful,
yeah, I've heard that.
accurate guns.
Yeah.
There's a reason they're popular.
That's one thing that kind of bothers me, actually. With the way they balance guns, like just kind of throwing out the real-world experience out the window in favor of, like, balancing the game.
Well, some of it's, what's the right way to describe it? They want you, because people think they know a lot about guns. Like, an Uzi is, you see all these, like, bad henchmen in like, James Bond movies and stuff, like, carrying around Uzis and whatnot.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, well, this must be the gun for bad guys and idiots and people that like to spray and miss all the time. Reality is that's just not the case. An Uzi is a glorious gun. To be perfectly honest with you, I would rather, if I were going into combat and I had to take an Uzi or an MP5, I would probably take the Uzi.
MP5s are actually, like, not that, like, you actually have to, like, burst and, like, single fight with those in real life, right?
No. No. They're good too. The point being, they're both good guns.
Yeah. But you'd rather have an Uzi. Mm-hmm. But then in a game, you'd rather have an MP5 in a game.
Correct.
Yeah.
But the difference there is vast. Like, in real life, both guns are good. In a game, this gun I'm using here is, like, close to useless, almost. Like, to be honest, you played Modern Warfare Remastered, right?
Yeah, quite a lot.
So you know how trasheroni this gun is I'm using.
Yeah, I was quite sad, because in my memory, I had a lot of fun with it back in COD 4 days, back on PS3. And then actually starting to use it, I'm like, oh, awesome, I can, like, use this with a suppressor and run around and, like, rush people, but no, hit marker machine.
I guess there is a difference. This is a mini Uzi, which is something different. The one that I enjoyed the most was like actually full size, so it's pretty different. Yeah, there's a lot of people in the chat already on to me about this. There's a lot of Uzi variants. There's really small ones and big ones.
Yeah,
man. Do you have any other questions?
I noticed you playing Overwatch, like in groups and stuff. And I was thinking maybe it would be nice if definitely while you're not playing comp, but maybe like quick play with people in Discord. And the Discord is like, it's really awesome because I've been on this. I switched from Skype to Discord, and there's actually like a decent amount of people here, and I do notice the same people coming back in the chat and stuff like that. So maybe
the Discord experiment's been really good on my end. I intend to keep this going, this being a part of it. I can't make you promises that I'm going to get on and play Overwatch with you, and I don't mean it in a bad way, but there's a lot of requests to play. And if I just played with people that ask, I would play 24/7, and it would just keep on going, you know.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
But if you're in Discord, I have been picking people up in Discord for PubG and like other stuff like that. So if you hang around, the odds are there.
Yeah.
I mean,
last night I was just tucking into bed, and then I see you in general. I'm like, oh, god damn it.
Yeah. All right, cool, man. Well, I'm gonna talk to Draconian, and I'll catch you later.
Awesome. See you around.
Hey, Draconian, what's up, man?
Hello, Mr. Drifter. How goes it?
It's going all right. I'm on the struggle bus here with this little Uzi. I'm trying to get some good gameplay, but I'm 5 and 8 on my stream. It feels bad.
Sounds cool, my dude. All right, let's hop right into the questions, I guess.
Okay.
First and foremost, how is your day going?
Just starting, primarily. I haven't been... This guy hit in a corner. My God. I haven't been awake very long. I had some unexpected things coming up last night, so I was up incredibly late. So I'm literally just now getting up, getting going. I'll probably be working on videos and stuff all day, and I think I have a second stream tonight, which will be on the second channel. I don't know all the details, but yeah. It might be joining Laquan for some PubG.
Ooh, awesome. I'll be in the chat as usual. Okay, my main question for you is, yes, the YouTube monetization policy currently is a huge problem, especially for content creators like yourself. I'm curious, what will you do if YouTube is no longer able to pay the bills?
Well, I would be shamelessly whoring myself out over there on Twitch, dancing for donations. No, I don't know if I would be doing that, but I probably would try moving to Twitch first, or it's funny that I've got all this like engineering background and science-y degrees and whatnot. God dang, my team is getting demolished here. I thought I was doing bad. But I would probably try to find something inside the gaming space as well. A lot of content creators retire into social media management or brand management or positions at networks and things like that. I know a lot of content creators that have sort of retired from the content scene into those other places, so that wouldn't be an illogical choice for me to go. And it would probably provide a fun lifestyle better than, respectfully, the 9-to-5, you know, everyday Joe working job. I don't know if I could really handle, because I've been off of that for so long. The idea of somebody telling me when and how to work is just pretty maddening. It would be a very, very difficult thing to readjust to. But
that does not sound very appealing to me either.
Yeah, millennials in general don't go for that. They don't value traditional time work schedules, and what else is it? They prefer to have flexible lifestyles.
Yes, millennial, and you kind of just took the words right out of my mouth as to what I would seek if I were looking for a job. What do you think about computer science being a degree? That is my so far declared degree. Is it good?
I can't tell you 100% because I don't... This is going to make me sound very ignorant. I have a hard time telling apart the differences in computer science. There's hardware engineering, there's programming, there's IT, there's database management. There's these type of degrees are very overlapping to me, and I have a very hard time. I'm going to get this stairwell camper if it's the last thing I do. Telling them apart. So what makes a computer science degree in particular different from those others?
I would assume it would have to do with coding, or whether it is working with hardware or software, or coding for that matter.
Okay. So continue. Like, what, I mean, specifically, what does a computer science degree do that's different or better than those others?
I think most of it is like IT tech and making sure like servers and things like that are running smoothly.
Okay.
Yeah, I bet you've seen like pictures of like the big like server rooms in like companies and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Basically the maintenance of those, and that would be like working with hardware and stuff like that. And then you have like the coding aspect, online play as well.
Okay. So Patches says computer science is the theory of math and programming. So you're more of a, if I were to equate it to something I'm more familiar with engineering, it would be, you're the mechanical engineer. You're the only, I'm getting you're the theory of everything kind of guy. You might not have a specialty, but you do some of everything.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right. Well, I think I've taken up enough of your time, Mr. Drifter. It was good to talk to you. I will let the next person answer their questions, and I will be in the chat on stream. You take it easy, my friend.
Alrighty, thank you. You too. Guys, I'm making some slight server changes because I know there's been more than one person flooding in here. So go ahead and do it like that. Save changes. Alrighty. Moving on to... hi, Colossus. I was supposed to move on to the next room, but you are in rotation. Twisted Faith, 1999. Hello?
Hi.
What's up, man?
Nothing much. Nothing much. Just honored to be talking to you. But I have 2 questions, if that's fine.
Go for it. I'm all ears.
All right. My first question is the with Modern Warfare 2, how they fall out with the old Infinity Ward and Activision, how most of them got fired and went to Respawn Entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
Say the new Infinity Ward that done Modern Warfare 3, Ghost, and then Infinite Warfare. With the supposed leaks with Black Ops 4, and how with World War 2 going on, how what's the word? If they're going back in time and how it might become more modern, do you think there's a chance that if the new Infinity Ward can do a Modern Warfare game like the Modern Warfare 1 and 2, do you think there's a chance for them to be liked in the public again?
You said to be like in the public or to be liked in the public?
Like where fans enjoy the game and not just discredit it at first, kind of like how Infinite Warfare was. Though there were some concerns, but just to be an overall like a really good game that everyone can enjoy.
I don't think so.
All right.
I think that Infinity Ward has lost almost its entire talent pool. They had half the staff quit during Modern Warfare 3. There was a big... This gun just like shoots pellets at people. There was a big turnover after the end of Ghosts, and I think like a third of the studio got lost at the end of Infinite Warfare. And if you look, it's like half and a third. And a lot of these people that are quitting are the more experienced employees, your like senior designers and your managers and stuff. Then what you're really doing is bleeding talent. It's a terrible thing to suffer from an organizational level. And it's mean. There are good people at Infinity Ward, lots of good people, lots of smart people, well-meaning people, and I know a good number of them, but I do not have faith in that studio. I have seen them put out 3 games in a row that I did not like. I really didn't like Modern Warfare 3. I know it's very popular, but I truly didn't like it. Ghost was not good. It was fun for like a little bit, but then the flaws shone through very quickly. And Infinite Warfare was just a huge mess after 3 big fails in a row. And then after that, you have employee turnovers out the roof. How is it possible to make another successful Call of Duty title? I just don't think it is. I wish that I was wrong. I wish that every year there was like some amazing Call of Duty game coming out that would be awesome, because it's fun for me to play and it's good for my livelihood on the same token, but I don't think Infinity Ward is going to be cranking out any hits anytime soon. And whatever they're planning, man, when I see it, I'm going to have my skepticism glasses up to maximum. And I know that's one of the things you're probably most concerned about, because the community just outright dismissing things. But after so many bad experiences, you can't sit around hoping for a good one. It's Stockholm Syndrome in a way. It's like, well, these last 4 games, they were really bad, but this 5th one might be fantastic. It's stupid, I think.
Yeah, I get your point with the whole skepticism, seeing how Infinity Ward has done not that good.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second question is, with the PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds and Battlefield 1, I know you've talked about it, you know, realism versus fun, but how far do you think a video game can go with realism before fun just gets taken out overall?
You can go really far. I mean, Arma is absurdly realistic, and while it's more hardcore and more niche, there are people that have a lot of fun with it.
Alright, thank you. I really enjoyed the Q&A. I'll definitely stay around and watch the live stream, and have a good day.
Alright, man, you too. Let's move on to our next person. What's going on here? Peter J. Deal, what's up, man? Hey, Peter, you there? Peter Griffin. Peter. Earth to Peter. We'll give Peter a second. I'll catch my breath in the meantime.
UAV recon standing by. We are about to achieve victory.
Peter, I'm waiting on you, buddy. I need you, dude. Peter Griffin. This guy I don't think is here. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and call in my airstrike and hope. Alright, sorry, Peter. Giving you the kick. He already left. Okay, well, let's go back up here. Room number 1, Stevie Boy. What's up, man?
Alright, how you doing, Drifter?
Doing
Good
good.
to speak to you, man. Yeah, basically, my question is on just thinking about, you know, you as a content creator.
Mm-hmm.
My own job over here in Scotland, I'm a TV producer, and thinking about, you know, yourself, you're almost in the same position as myself. We need to create content, you know, to be for people to want to see us and what to watch.
Mhm.
See, as a YouTuber, because it's all down to mostly yourself and stuff, it's not part of like a TV production or whatever. Do you find that it's harder for someone like yourself to come up with original ideas that will grab people's attention to want to watch it and stuff?
Well, yeah, that's an everyday challenge. Guys, I turned his volume up a little bit. You're a little quiet, but I mean, if you look through my channel in a video count, there's 2,500 videos on my channel. That doesn't include what I've done on other networks or collaborations and some streams and stuff. That is a serious challenge to come up with content for. I mean, after 2,400 videos, how much more can be done? There's a finite limit to all of it. And I'm always trying to come up with something new, something fun, something eye-grabbing, and some days it just totally fails. Some days it's great, and some days it's fail-tacular.
Yeah, like, just as an observer, as a subscriber of you as well, like, I've noticed in the last year or so, especially because you were a main, like, Call of Duty was one of your main content sources, but in the last year, obviously wasn't, you know, the last game, Infinite Warfare, wasn't your cup of tea, let's say, you know, so you had to find other ways to create our content, so including, you know, a lot of Overwatch and like PubG recently and stuff. So do you think, especially coming back to this year in November when World War II comes round, do you think you could see yourself focusing back in and stuff like that, or just are you happy with the kind of variety you've got going on at the moment?
Well, that's kind of a hard question because how would I say this? I'm definitely coming back to COD in November. World War II and In-Depth and things like that are going to be very big for me. I think that's going to be a huge thing for me, and I like the game and I want to play it. But I've considered, I've given some thought to just moving away from Call of Duty and just doing other things, but that's a self-destructive thing to do, if that makes sense, because that's what the fan base is primarily here for, is Call of Duty and game guides and numbers and statistics. And as you've seen, I've been doing some PubG in depth, but it's really hard to transition away from, like, I built 1.5 million subs off of Call of Duty, and you can't just leave that behind and expect everybody to be happy with it. So it'd be a very difficult thing to do, to expand completely off.
Yeah, it's kind of like almost having to, you know, give the fans what they want, but also try and try something different in case, you know, that doesn't last forever, kind of thing, almost.
Exactly.
All right. It's just kind of cool to get that idea from someone else who does it all on their own. You know, I work with a team in my job and stuff, and it's like kind of, I've always watched YouTubers and thought, you know, it must be a tough thing to every single day have to produce and produce and produce and not end up going over everything you've done before.
Yep, it's very difficult. It's kind of the soap opera problem, because, you know, every week a soap opera makes 5 hours of content. Every week. Almost without fail. Their off seasons are very small. It's kind of the same thing on YouTube. It's every week we're making 5 videos, one-man production, no team, no staff, no cinematographers or cameras, just you, your computer, and your microphone, and a hope and a dream. And it's, man, it's hard. Sometimes you just don't have great ideas.
Yeah.
Fighting like the sniper squad here.
Well, I think I personally, I'd say you've been doing quite well. I mean, I like the content, which is probably the most interesting to watch on YouTube. So,
oh well, thank
it's been
you.
good to talk. It's been good to talk to you, man. Thank you very much. Have a good stream.
All right. Well, thank you. I'm gonna hop on to the other room. Let's see who's in number 2. Riley Nash. Good to see you.
Hey man, what's going on?
Oh, you're real quiet. I'm gonna turn you up on my end so other people can hear you.
Sorry about that.
All right. So you're at maximum volume. What's up, dude?
Not much. Just hanging around the house. I was actually wondering if I was gonna get a chance to talk to you. So I have a question about Overwatch for you.
Okay.
So I'm very soon going to be getting Overwatch, and I've played it before, but I wasn't very good at it. And I was wondering what a good hero to start with would be, because I want to be able to get into a competitive and be able to contribute to the team and whatnot, but I don't know who to play.
Riley?
Yeah?
I hate to tell you, man, but I basically just can't hear you at all.
Damn.
Like, I can kind of hear... Your question was something about Overwatch competitive, but, it's... You're really hard to hear. I'm gonna go hide in a corner and jack my volume way up, and I'll just reread whatever you just said. So go ahead and, Alright, I'm hidden. Go ahead and ask.
So I was just wondering, I'm thinking of getting Overwatch soon, or I am
Okay.
getting Overwatch very soon, and I want to be able to play competitive and like actually do well in contributing to my team. But I'm not sure really. I've only played it once before, very briefly, and it wasn't very good. So I was wondering what hero I should start with.
Okay. So Riley's new to Overwatch competitive, and he wants to play well and be a good player, and he wants to know what character he should start with. Given your experience with Call of Duty, I think Soldier 76 would be a good one. He transitions naturally into that. He also plays a very critical role at killing Pharah, who is an absolute monster at low elos. Just Pharah is super annoying and difficult to deal with, so having the ability to take her out in Mercy is very good. He's got a nice auto-aim ultimate, which is amusing to say the least. And on top of that, Soldier is very versatile. You won't have many people be like, ooh, Soldier's a bad pick for this team comp. That's just not really something you run into. If you're not playing Soldier, Zenyatta's good, because you got yourself a healer that can also deal damage. You can do both. You can sort of carry your team if you need to. As Zenyatta, it's a little difficult, but very doable. And outside of that, I would probably recommend playing a nice, friendly Reinhardt, or a utility tank. I don't think that going into a healer role expecting to be able to carry is very realistic. And Riley, I'm going to go ahead and hop over to the next room because I don't think anybody in the chat's able to hear you, man.
Alright, well, thank you for answering my question, and you have yourself a great day.
You too, man.
Thanks. See you.
Hello, Colossus?
Hello?
What's up, man?
Not much. I just wanted to ask you a question about, have you ever played Rainbow Six Siege?
I have. I played it when it first came out. I did Ubisoft had me do some sort of marketing deal or something, so I played it in that regard. But I never played it after it got good or popular. I was always playing it just when nobody was playing it. I don't have the full Rainbow Six Siege experience, so I know that it's much better than what I initially played.
Okay. That's all I wanted to ask. Also, your videos are amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
a lot of people have been wanting me to play Rainbow Six. It's not a bad game at all, so.
That's good. It's gotten good now.
Well, good. I'm glad you like the videos, and have fun with Rainbow Six. I'm going to try to avoid playing any more addictive games. I'm going to hop on over into a different voice chat real quick.
See ya.
Where am I going? I'm Mika, dude. You gotta wait your turn. Just because you're a mod doesn't mean you can queue up in all the other rooms. Steven Folden, what's up?
Brad, I just want to thank you for the videos. They helped me out a lot in my teenage years. And
you cut out a little bit. What'd you say?
I just want to thank you for the videos. They helped me a lot through the.
Oh, well, I'm glad to have helped, man.
And question is, or I know you did a video about this, but it was kind of. What would be your plan? Us.
You are cutting out mega bad. Can you get closer to your mic? I heard, what is your plan? Dusk.
If North Korea nukes us.
Well, assuming that I just am not immediately dead, because that's tend to be what happens when you get nuked, and assuming I'm not in a fallout zone, my plan would probably be to abandon my Tesla, because you're not going to be able to take electric cars very far, get my good old Hyundai Elantra out, because it's got maximum fuel efficiency, fill up every single bit of Tupperware with potable water and food. I would probably kill my dogs, and then I would drive to a place in my hometown out in the country that I know has fresh water and is a very low what is it, a low traffic area, just a piece of family land. I see Dion Booth there in Twitch. Good to know that people are dropping their YouTube usernames in Twitch. And the cruelest part of that, which I'm sure is confusing, you said kill your dogs. Why would you not take your dogs? In an extreme survival scenario, the dogs ultimately cost food and water, and they are not hunting dogs. They are not trained to do anything. They're pets whose jobs are to just sit there and be petted. And in the case of having them be killed and eaten by other people, or attacked by animals, or dying from radiation, I would probably just put them down myself and be on my way. And I would probably do it. I wouldn't make Jessica do it. That wouldn't be right.
Thank you.
I know, sorry, it's very negative.
No, it's fine. It's my question.
Here. Oh, you got a different question? Let's do two. Let's try something a little different.
Okay, let me think. So, game do you think would be the hardest to make a movie out of?
Game that would be the hardest to make a movie out of. Katamari Damacy. Swallowed my water wrong. Katamari Damacy.
Pick. I was gonna say League of Legends, but yeah.
I think League of Legends can make a fantastic anime or short series.
Yeah, especially when focused around Teemo.
God, yes. I mean, there's some individual stories in League of Legends you could do that'd be like the main stories of the series and probably tie into Ionia and Demacia. But League could make a good, like, sort of wide character birth anime, like the Fate series with all their characters and fighters and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go ahead and stay in here until I'm dead. So go ahead and ask another question.
Okay.
Oh. I'm dead, but go for it. Hello?
Alright, I'm just having trouble thinking of a question.
It's okay, no worries.
Opinion, why do you think people have gotten more sensitive?
I think they've always been this sensitive. I just think that they've never had an opportunity to express themselves to the public like we now have, and being sensitive has never been popular. So before there was an incentive to hide it, and there was also no real way to widely express outrage, but now we have the opportunity for both. There's encouragement for expressing your sensitivity, and a lot of ways to express outrage.
Thanks. That's a philosophical one in there.
Cool. Alright, I'm gonna go hide and change up. It's good to talk to you. Alias Games, what's up, dude? Alias Games, you there?
Yeah, I had to mute the stream real quick because of the background noise.
No worries, what's up, man?
Alright, so I was just curious as to what you thought about YouTube's demonetization of everything in regards to, do you think that they are essentially trying to make themselves sort of a network or TV or Netflix style kind of thing where it's original content and creators are part of the platform, really like the much larger ones that they have deals with, sort of the YouTube Red kind of thing? Because I even saw ProZD on Twitter earlier, one of his videos got demonetized, I think before it was even live, and it was just him trying out new snacks. And I've been seeing a whole lot of that in the last few days specifically. So I was just curious, like, what your thoughts were on what direction you think they're going and where you think they're going with everything.
You know, a week or two ago, I would have said that's just a paranoid conspiracy theory. But now, it's starting to be the only thing that makes sense to me. At the end of the day, the creators are a huge portion of revenue for YouTube. Now, YouTube and Google are one of those companies that are too big to fail, in a sense. They can burn money at an incredible rate before it becomes a true problem. So they could still make money without any creators, just not as much. But it seems crazy to me that you would piss away your revenue streams on a platform that is notoriously unprofitable to begin with. So that is strange. And the arbitrariness of the rule, or how arbitrary the rules are, and the real sort of nonchalant attitude that I feel like YouTube has taken does make me believe that they're trying to squeeze some people out. They're trying to squeeze out the low end of everything and go for, I just ran right into a grenade, and go for like high production values only. I don't think that there's a lot of people that say Google is a liberal leftist monopoly that's there to crush free speech and do weird stuff like that, and that it's all like a snowflake conspiracy. I think they just had some salty advertisers that had never been bombarded online, and some advertisers that probably just said, hey, I want my stuff on all videos for males between ages 18 and 20, and some of that just turned out to be racist crap, so everybody took an L for it. The original way it was done is the same way YouTube does everything. YouTube's very heavily into automation, so is Google. It's the... I'm trying to think, the ethos, the culture of the company is to just be very automated, because they're a tech company. Automation is their life. Also, because there's so much content, they can't reasonably police videos without hiring thousands and thousands of employees that'll probably have high turnover because they go crazy because they have to watch 800 Minecraft videos in a day and determine how offensive they are. But then, when the content creators started getting smashed and getting their videos demonetized for no reason, the response YouTube had was totally indifferent. Like, they rolled out the changes with basically no announcement. The rules and what you can and can't say and what you can and can't do aren't really well defined. I really don't know what... I don't know. Like, I don't know what gets videos demonetized. I know what you guys have read. I know what I've experienced. I know what other YouTubers have had to test through weird, like, trial and error stuff. But as a YouTube partner with over 1 million subscribers today, I could not tell you what the content rules are. I'm pretty confident if PewDiePie were to join this chat right now, and I'd say, hey PewDiePie, what do you know about this demonetization? What gets you in trouble? He'd be like, I don't know. They don't tell him anything either, and it's stupid. It'd be like, imagine coming to work only to find out your entire job had changed, and that you were now getting paid for something completely different. Like you're a cashier, and then the next day you're doing stocking. And then the day after that, you're not doing stocking anymore, you're a janitor, but even though you're a janitor, you're being paid for how many shelves you stock, and it's so arbitrary and so annoying and so random, and the amount of lack of fucks given at YouTube leaves me to the only conclusion is that they're trying to squeeze people out. Sorry, I know it's a very rambly answer, but that's how I truly feel about it.
No, you're fine. Even the Minecraft videos, there's a couple people that I follow that I haven't really watched in a while, but they do sort of like news on some of the updates and that kind of thing. And they're very, very PG, if not just straight G, about their content.
Mm-hmm.
And even some of their videos are starting to get affected, and just completely randomly, like 3-minute update on, hey, there's a patch coming to Pocket Edition Minecraft, and it'll just get demonetized. And they have no idea why, and nobody really does. And it just seems to be getting wider and wider, not just in gaming, but even just trying snacks and some of these obscure things that there's... I mean, if you don't want to monitor, or if you don't want to advertise on it, that I get that, but it's not, inappropriate for monetization or for advertising. It's a bit odd.
I feel you on that. It's I've seen stuff. It says like I saw one where Google's like, the content must be safe to watch by a 5-year-old, and I'm like, are all advertisers advertising for 5-year-olds? Is that what's going on here?
Yeah, it seems, at least from my analytics from a channel that I had a while ago that I used to get some pretty decent views on, most of the content, not just in gaming, but like most of the content tends to come, or views for the content, especially in gaming, but even just in general, tends to come like, I'd say 16 up, and a lot of that is like 16 to 30, 16 to 35. And these are people that have jobs that like live in the real world and deal with real things every day. And somebody saying like, fuck, is the least of their concerns, much less on what is already an M-rated game. And they seem to be cool with that until very recently. So it's all a little bit odd, and the vagueness that you mentioned with sort of their guidelines does not help anybody, except I think them and their ability to push people out without explaining it.
I feel you on that. I'm gonna hop back into the next room. It's good talking to you. See you later.
No problem.
Being Beast 24/7. What's up, man?
Hey Drifter, how are you?
Doing good. Just doing my Q&A here, having a little fun. I'm trying to snipe some people here.
Oh, nice.
Console sniping skills are lacking recently. Yep, getting obliterated. I see. The thing about this guy, I don't know why you would snipe when you could just run an M16 with a red dot. This is the best sniper in the game.
And then just one burst.
Yep, I just got stun grenade. But what's up? What questions you got for me today?
So someone asked you what you would do if you got nuked with North Korea and all that stuff. My question is let's say you were put in a position of power in terms of you're the president, you're part of the UN board, you're someone important of that nature. What would be your policy to try to control North Korea, or what you think actually needs to be done to tell North Korea, hey, you cannot be doing this? Do we limit the support they get from China? Do we eventually take a military action, or what is your opinion on that?
I'm getting obliterated in this game. Give me a second. There's basically two trains of thought on this one, and it depends on what you believe about North Korea. If you think that North Korea is a rational actor, and you think that there's people that believe that North Korea's decisions that they're making make sense, and in that context, let's say that you wake up tomorrow and you're in Kim Jong-il's, I'm getting my Kims. It's Kim Jong-un. Sorry, I grew up with Kim Jong-il. Kim Jong-un's body, right? And you are now the leader of North Korea. Christ, I'm getting obliterated. Worst on the team. This is rough. And you're the leader of North Korea. What do you do to survive? How do you live? What happens if you're the dictator and you just say, hey, tomorrow we're getting freedom for everybody? They're gonna kill you. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
They're gonna lynch you and tear you to pieces. Your generals will kill you. When their power structure starts falling apart, things are gonna get terrible.
They're gonna want to keep the power for themselves, and once you get rid of that, they're gonna, like you said, they're gonna start killing each other. I think it's more of I think the reason why everyone is scared is because of their support. The China supporting them, and we don't want to take any action because of them. What do you think?
I disagree on that.
Oh, okay. So what would you say is the biggest influence? Let's say, what's the biggest reason why we don't, quote unquote, just attack them, or why we don't do anything rational or sudden?
Alright, well, give me a second on this one. I never finished point one. If you believe that what the Kim Jong-un and the leaders are doing is a rational thing, then you'll understand that what they have is kind of mutually assured destruction. Because they're unpopular, and if your threat goes away while you're so unpopular, you're just a giant target. Like, if North Korea did a nuclear disarmament tomorrow and destroyed all their nuclear weapons, I think we would just roll in there and take the whole country. We'd kill them all. I'm getting obliterated here. Why is my whole team... Those are all dead. But if you assume that that threat is the only thing keeping you alive, it makes sense as to why they bolster it. But they also know that using it is suicide. So it's like another Cold War. It's mutually assured destruction, ensuring that neither side will wipe the other one out, which kind of gives them a blank check. As for China, China keeps North Korea going because they're a buffer state. China and the United States are economic and military competitors, and one of the things they're most upset about is that they provoked the United States into stalling THAAD, our anti-ballistic missile defense system, in South Korea, which also means it can block stuff from China. So if China shoots missiles now, our THAAD system can shoot it down, and that's what they're most upset about. China also does not want to be taking in a whole buttload of North Korean refugees across their border for a variety of political, honestly sometimes racist reasons. They just don't want an extra million Koreans in China. They don't want a bunch of dumb refugees. They don't know anything about the modern world and can't contribute to their economy. And they don't want a South Korean US-friendly puppet state that close to their border, because that means the United States can build military bases all up in their butt for rapid deployments when they don't have the same capabilities. So that's why they're super pissed at North Korea, because they're prompting South Korea to get even more close to the US over this nonsense, when they'd rather have the US as far away as possible so that they can continue to exert influence in the region. So the issue is very complicated, I would say.
That makes a lot more sense. One more question, last one.
Okay,
I remember you did it was a Zombies with PubG, correct? You did an event or something like that with a bunch of subscribers and things like that. Now that you have this Discord, you could set up a stream delay, of course, and do a couple other things, but would you ever consider doing a PubG, just a custom one with 100 people, and just all from the Discord or from the stream and things of that nature?
Definitely. I just got carried to a 74-75 victory by my team. I contributed nothing to that. But I've talked about doing that with Cross. We're considering doing a demo derby. I don't know if you've seen it, but you get 100 people in there, and you all get pistols and vehicles, and you kind of Mad Max this race around the map, and you can either win the race or be the last vehicle standing. So we thought about doing some stuff like that. It's harder than you would think to get all 100 people in there. It's it's definitely going to happen, though I can't say it's going to happen soon.
Okay.
Yep, but it's good talking to you. I'm going to room number 2 to talk to Reverend Schmitty.
Okay, and have a nice day.
You too. Reverend Schmitty, nice to see you.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Going good. I'm going to turn you up just a smidge. I actually see your comment there in the Discord that says you went to the fan meetups, shaking hands and talking to people face to face. That is something that triggered the poopy out of me recently, I'll say, since I don't get demonetized. I was like, I Google my name like once a week to see kind of like what's going on, if there's any like weird threads or discussion going on outside of my normal ability to see things. And what I found was this Reddit thread where a guy said he used to be a huge fan of me, but he like bought tickets to go to a meetup. And then when he was there, I was kind of a dick to everybody and wouldn't shake hands and couldn't remember names and would just kind of like blew everybody off and left. And it just drove me crazy because I just don't do meetups like that. No selling tickets, talk to everybody, pictures and everything. And it made me get all like, I think there's like a Reddit conspiracy of people that just want to talk shit. I don't know what their problem is. I just wanted to rant about that because I saw your comment there. But by all means, questions.
So, I don't know if you'll actually want to answer mine or not, so I've got a backup one planned just in case.
Okay.
So, I watched your Ghost Stories videos quite a few times now.
Mm-hmm.
And in one of the early ones, you mentioned having witnessed an exorcism. Can you tell us about that?
Okay. So, it was in a little town called Gober, Texas. Gober, Texas. Not far from where I'm living now. You guys can Google it. And by little town, I mean this town is like super duper tiny, like 50 people. And my family bought a house just barely outside the town itself. We were like in an unincorporated territory. I don't know why all these details are important. It was a farmhouse, but it was a really like weird farmhouse. Our suspicion is that the people that used to live there either did human trafficking or they were part of some kind of cult. Well, I'm getting obliterated again. This game is getting hard. Because it had multiple underground bunkers, not just tornado shelters, but we're talking like big boy bunkers, like really huge underground areas with heat, air, water, gas, power, TVs, radios, air filters, all sorts of stuff. And it was almost a completely self-sufficient compound. Like when we first bought it, we thought it was like a quaint farm, but when you look closer, a lot of that quaintness is something entirely different. But anyway, the house was haunted, in my opinion. Lots of spooky things happen, noises, things moving, uncomfortable areas, chains, whoa, you know, what goes bump in the night sounds. And I know that's... I'm getting obliterated. I'm changing guns. It's making me mad. So, when we brought... I'm still getting... Wow. Jesus Christ. So we brought in some relatives just to view the house. It was just like, hey, what's up? This is our new place. It's really cool. And we mentioned the haunting stuff. And they were Spanish and very devoutly Catholic. So we talked about the haunting stuff, and because of the religion and just personal biases, they believed it hook, line, and sinker. Whole thing. Most people, when you tell them your house is haunted, they think you're just absolutely nutty. They were serious about it, and they said that they had a solution. They said that, you know, you should get it exorcised, you should get it blessed, the God, faith, stuff like that. So, there was not a priest, and there was not a, you know, possession or, like, head spinning. But what happened was the family came, and they brought one of their family friends who was a nun or somebody else that was more religiously... I'm getting really mad at getting brutalized like this. Experienced. And they brought consecrated oils and crucifixes and other stuff. And they went to my little brother's room, which was the most haunted in all the house. That's where most of the shenanigans happened. And what I think they did... I'm trying to keep this story straight, but the difficulty in my lobbies just went up like exponentially here. I think they did like a house consecration or house blessings, but I seem to remember them also saying something about casting out demons and whatnot. I was not allowed to participate because at the time I was unsaved, or unbaptized. Much to the shame to the family, I got a lot of criticism for that as well. But I'd seen scary movies and I wanted to witness an exorcism, but they told me I couldn't watch because they were afraid that since I was unbaptized, the demon would jump into my body and escape or some... I don't know what the hell they were going on about. I didn't get to witness very much of it because of that. I did get to see just a little bit. I remember them rubbing oil on the walls, and they were doing... I don't know, not incantations, maybe blessings in Spanish or something to command the demons to leave. It didn't really work, to be honest with you. I mean, I guess it worked for like a day or two because nothing happened, but then it just went back to same old, like, I don't know. I don't know if exorcisms have a time limit or not, or how many times you're supposed to do them. But that's the details of it. It's probably far less exciting than what you had in mind.
Oh no, that was plenty interesting. I remember well all your descriptions about that house.
It was a strange place. It was a very strange place. It's awesome in a lot of ways if you live in a place that's totally self-sufficient like that, but it's still strange in a different way.
Alright, well I appreciate you telling me, man.
Anytime. Alright, Cheese Eater, what's up, dude?
How you doing, man?
Doing good, just playing some Carl on Booty, Modern Welfare Remastered.
Hoi hoi. So my question is, I didn't see the start of the stream, so I don't know if this question was already asked, but when Big Daddy Jeff of Overwatch released his developer update on the toxicity of Overwatch, I was just wondering your thoughts on it.
I didn't watch that update. I don't think I watch any of the updates that Jeff makes. I prefer to just read text summaries and whatnot.
But do you know what it's about?
That I do know that it was a major problem that they put a lot of work into, and that it hindered development of other things.
And you know that you said if you're a toxic person or you're a bad person, we do not want you in our game.
Yes.
I was just wondering your thoughts on it and any...
I think it's a good thing. I have been playing Overwatch since beta. And I'm going to let you know that Overwatch had a fantastic community at the start, but got increasingly toxic and bad to the point to where I didn't want to play it anymore. Even now I have reservations about playing it because of how all of that went. I should rather play this map. I can't revote. Okay. Like, I would get on Overwatch, and I had people in the lobby. I think I was just playing solo, and I joined a lobby with Mercy. Sorry, how do I try this? I joined a lobby, we're picking characters, somebody picks Mercy, and it happened to be a woman, and she says, hey, I'm going to play healer, is anybody else a Mercy main? Does anybody want to also heal, or is this your role, or whatever? And this guy cuts in, and I'll do his accent, because he had an Indian accent for whatever reason, and he's just like, you stupid bitch, you fucking bitch, you so stupid you only pay Mercy, you better heal me, you fucking whore, I'll rape you, and just, I mean, we're talking like 10 seconds in the game, and she's just like, hey, I'm going to be healing anybody, does anybody else want to play healer, I don't want to take your main, and she's like, and this guy just goes on, like, women are fucking stupid, and they don't, you need to be in the kitchen, that's why you can't aim because you're a stupid bitch, and that's why you're playing Mercy. And he just went on and on and on. And I remember telling him, like, dude, if you don't stop, I'm just going to quit this game and give you negative SR. And he says, give me negative SR, you effing N-word, that I'll take it because I'm a man. It's just going to hurt you. And you're just a big pussy and you can't play with me and you should kill yourself. And I reported him. The whole team did. And I ended up playing with him again like 2 days later. And he did the same thing. Same thing. Like, Overwatch requires a ton of teamwork. Overwatch requires more teamwork than League of Legends. If you don't have a team, you don't win an Overwatch game, and that's the reality. And when you have somebody like that on your team, I would rather just do nothing than listen to that. There's a lot of things I would rather do than listen to that. And having people like that permanently banned for the game, I'm all for. Because the gaming's supposed to be fun and relaxing, and the last thing I want to do is get on and get called the N-word all day long. Like, and people are saying in the chat, holy crap, or whatever. That is not an uncommon experience in Overwatch at all.
Really? I mean, I thought my games were bad, but that sounds unreal.
I've had a few like that. I mean, you probably saw the video I did where the people were laying into my wife about stuff.
I think I remember that one.
Basically, they,
Yeah, I think I remember that.
They
Was that
didn't
the
like
one
her
where-
healing or whatever. She was playing Mercy, I think, and they said that she wasn't healing enough. And they noticed we were in a group, and they kept... And I was kind of stepping in for my wife, and they're like, hey, you know, you're never going to get laid, you white knighting, you know, nerd, whatever. This bitch is never going to fuck you. You're pitiful, and just... it was some... And this, like, women are stupid, and women... have it easy, and just like it's terrible, and it happens all the time, and that's just about non-game related stuff. The game related stuff can get bad too. I have no interest in playing that. I'll just not play video games, or I will just never go into voice chat, which a lot of people have been doing this season. They've just not been going into voice chat. I can't say that I want all my games to be the morality police, and
but you don't want that.
No, and I had way too much of that in Overwatch. I wish I didn't have that. This season, there's been so much less... Wait, I knew there was a guy hiding here. I cannot see these people dressed like bushes. If they can get rid of that, it makes me happy. I do know of some of my friends that are much more toxic.
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean,
they have gotten, like, chat restricted and banned, and they no longer get in chat. Like, they've been just straight up honest with me that one of the reasons they like playing the game is to just get in there and talk shit to people and make them feel bad about themselves. And they're like, yeah, I can't do that this season because I'll just get banned, so I'll just do something else. I'm like, good. You should be doing something else. I don't think it's an insignificant problem. It really was quite bad.
And it's not just Overwatch that it affects, but it's the game that, like, it's taking a stand with right now.
Mm-hmm.
If you know what I mean.
I do indeed. Blizzard's a big developer, and when they put their foot down, people listen. I mean, it's not like... I think I got reported... I didn't get banned, but I got reported once for being toxic because some guy on my team was being really, really mean. And, like, he was just being an absolute dick to us. And But his name was Scar. And Choco comes in and is like, Scar, how are the hyenas doing? And everybody just jumped on him, and we started singing Hakuna Matata and King of the Jungle, and we asked him why he killed Mufasa, and just kind of like this kind of stuff. And I got reported for that. It's probably on my log somewhere. That kind of communication or like trash talking is fine. Getting mad at people and yelling at them because you're losing a game is normal. People get stressed and they do that. But joining a game and being told that I need to kill myself immediately and just have people screech at me is terrible.
I mean, I've never had that done. I think the European servers are a little bit more lighter than that. I mean, I fear what you guys in the US have, but geez, that sounds horrible.
Yeah, it was kind of bad. Okay, I went on a kind of a rant. Do you have a different question?
I like having a more light-hearted thing, so my other light-hearted question is, what's your favorite sandwich filling?
Favorite sandwich filling? What do you mean by filling?
What do you put in a sandwich?
Okay. I didn't know if you was a regional dialect or different, because you said filling, I was thinking a donut.
Right,
Favorite
filling.
Sandwich filling?
It's a usual, like, UK thing where you say a sandwich filling, like, what do you put in your sandwich?
Gotcha. What goes between the two pieces of bread?
Yeah.
I like... See, here's the problem. You're bringing out my inner fat boy. I'll eat almost anything. If I can eat any sandwich, I would probably go for a really well done, like, roasted turkey melt with Swiss cheese, some mustard, tomatoes, not cold tomatoes, need to be grilled like the rest of the sandwich, and maybe some lettuce or greens.
Sounds good. Maybe a bit of cranberry sauce since it's turkey you're working with.
Nah, I don't really do the cranberry. I never really liked cranberries. It's stupid reasons, but my family was really weird about cranberries and a lot of other foods, and they made me do weird stuff with it, so I just stuff I don't eat in adulthood.
Okay.
Yeah, not as bad as you think. They were just very obsessive about food, and if I didn't like or didn't eat certain foods, I would be beaten or punished, or told that I was not a human being. So whatever those foods were, I generally don't eat as much now, even if they're not, like, bad. It just brings back bad memories.
Right then.
Sorry, that got a little dark. Didn't mean for that.
Yeah, then. That was meant to be the happy question there.
No, but if I'm gonna make a sandwich for myself, I'm gonna get like some high-quality turkey. I'm gonna get the Dijon spicy mustard, Swiss cheese preferably, or maybe pepper jack, and tomatoes and lettuce, and it's all gonna be grilled.
Nice. Nice.
All right, cool. Well, I'm gonna bounce out, and I'm gonna talk to Fatty Caddy and Joshua, who are both in the same voice channel. And it was nice talking to you, man.
Yeah.
It's like on
Hey,
PC,
what's up?
Hey, Brad.
So I got 2 people here in this voice channel. I don't know which one of you is here first, so we'll just do both.
Oh, Josh is mod, so he joined. But yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So what's up, guys?
Hi. You know me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I have a question for you. A serious one. Your decision to boycott supply drops for in general.
Mm-hmm.
Do you regret it?
Yes.
Oh, that's so sad. Because I really look up to you because of that. Because you decided to, you know, it's not like the moral high ground. You decided to shy away from predatory corporate practices and all these things. Do you feel, are you jaded that the community turned on you when you were trying to protect them?
Very jaded. Even though I regret the decision, I would probably still make it again. I will make decisions I know that I will regret, even if because I know that they are the right decisions. I will make decisions that are self-harming, that are all the risk and reward is wrong. I will make decisions that are not popular because I feel that they are the right decisions. That doesn't mean I have to like my own decisions. And I know that's somewhat of a complicated moral philosophy. I wish, I look at it some days and I'm like, man, I wish I had just not given a damn and just done the supply drop thing.
No, you see, that's what I was getting at, because like, I really appreciated when you weren't pro supply drops, because I'll tell you a story about me. Okay. When I was younger and Advanced Warfare had come out, which it's not really much younger, but still it's relatively younger, 3 years ago. But since I'm not crazy old, it's younger.
Okay.
I spent $1,200 on supply drops because.
Say what?
$1,200 on supply drops. Advanced supply drops.
You spent $1,200 on advanced supply drops.
I had to spend 4 hours on a call with Microsoft, and they were like, "Yeah, we can do this once in the lifetime of the account. We can refund anything." I was like.
I'm going to interrupt your story and poke fun at you here for just a little bit. For guys on the stream, especially those of you not in the US, that's enough money to buy a used car, not a terrible one. That's enough money to buy a new computer. That's enough money to buy you, like, a lot of any particular type of vice that you want, drugs or alcohol. That's enough to get you a motorcycle. You could get a fancy suit. You could... you can do a lot with that much money. So, had to interrupt, but continue.
Okay, so now this was my decision, so it was very stupid of me, and I can say that, like, you know, it was their fault, which it's not their fault. I hit that button, you know, 30 times or whatever, and oh my gosh, and you have no idea how bad it is when you get that dopamine rush every time you open them. So that's why I made the decision to not play games with, what's the right word here? Not microtransactions, but games that have gameplay changing microtransactions. Because for me, I was, you know, I don't have these guns that I really want to play with. And
yeah, how much are you playing Advanced Warfare right now?
0 at all.
Right.
Nothing. Yeah, so like with Overwatch, which is a game I love, I set aside like $50 per like event, because the way that I rationalize that is this is usually a pretty decent expansion with lots of character skins and other stuff, and I'll usually get like pretty much all of the skins from that 50, and it's actually more like 70, because what I do is I set aside 70. I've spent only 50, but if there's some that I don't have, I'll pony up the extra 20, so I like have a buffer there. But that like I do that every like month. I set aside that much. But I think of it like as I really like the game. I want to keep in development and, you know, stuff like that. And I know that like it doesn't need me particularly, but I would prefer that, you know, I am the one paying for this than some stupid.
Basically, yeah, the
15-year-old.
microtransactions fund the servers in the long run. The $30 game does not.
Yeah, I spent like 30 or 40 bucks on it. So yeah. So yeah, and I prefer that me was spending the money than some stupid 15-year-old who has his parents' credit card on file. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's the reason that I really respect you for your decision, even though I know it's wrecked your business so far.
Oh, it's been terrible. So initially people were very with me on the anti-supply drop thing, but after
and
game
then
after
all
game,
turned on you.
yeah, it keeps coming, and I kind of put my foot down with IW, even though that game didn't have as bad of a supply drop model as some other games. I was just entirely sick of it. It just, you could just tell from the get-go it was designed around supply drops, and even though the system was easier, it was just not for me, and I was sick of getting like nickeled and dimed.
And what's even worse is the games who do the microtransaction model super well, like the best ever, which is like Titanfall 2. It's all, you know, you pay, you get X. No, random number generator. There's nothing separating you from your, dopamine rush.
But that doesn't make as much money. Like, the boxes make so much more money than direct purchases. That's why League of Legends added boxes instead of purchases.
It's disgusting. It really is.
It takes advantage of a thinking heuristic that people. If you told somebody this skin is worth $5, they would sit there and they would think, now, is this skin really worth $5? Am I going to get $5 of value from it? Can I trade it? But you tell somebody, hey, this 99-cent box could get you anything. You could spend $2 and get the rarest, most whatever in the game. That a lot of people don't understand the odds and the value and probability there.
It's the disassociation between your money and the loot box. There's a disassociation between, your time investment. There's like they layer the logical, like they take away all of your investment into that, money that you've spent. It's so crazy how they do that. And then on top of that, there's never any cash purchases going on. So it's always your credit, debit, PayPal, whatever.
And it's also often obscured by other currencies. At least if I'm doing Steam, and I'm sitting here eyeballing stuff in PubG right now, at least if I do that, I can trade it. I can get my money back,
How did you, what did you do with the PubG Gamescom crates?
I opened all of them.
Oh, okay. Because what I did was I was stupid at the end. I was smart at the beginning, stupid at the end. What I did was I bought like eight crates, 8 keys, and then I was actually in the green so far as like I opened stuff. I got a tracksuit top and something else that were pretty rare, and they were like $20 at the time, and I got 2 of each. And I got this really cool little microphone thing that's on your head. I forget what they call it.
Yeah, the hat with the microphone, the operator
Isn't that
hat
awesome?
or something.
I love that thing. Yeah. So I got 2 of those, and I sold most of the stuff when it was high. So then, when the event was ending, someone was like, "Oh yeah, the event's ending, so you should go buy some, and then they'll go up." And I was like, "Yeah, that makes a little bit of sense," but I shouldn't have bought them.
No, because the odds on those loot boxes, the PUBG loot boxes have horrific odds.
They do. Like, for me to get what I got, I'm like blown away. But then that's because like every game that I play with RNG, for some reason, even though I know the Advanced Warfare thing, that's you may think, oh well, you spent that much money in Advanced Warfare. Before that, I had like most of the guns in the game, so I was being really stupid then. Like, my RNG luck in video games is for some reason insane, and I shouldn't like even complain because I opened 8 cases and got I made money on it technically if I count in-game currency as money, like Steam wallet money. And I got awesome stuff for my character, but still, like, I don't like this practice where like little kids can do this because then little kids do stupid things like that. Did you hear about that person in Germany who spent like $20,000 or something, or $40,000 on FIFA crates?
I believe it. I know people that spent $1 million on Clash of Clans or whatever the stupid game was at the time.
Wait, you know people?
I've read documentaries about people. Like I've seen them. It's difficult. But the reality is that's the way that games are going to be in the future. And there's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it. People are spending their money on it. That's how they've decided they're going to spend their money on it. And it's barring some sort of regulation, it's not going to change. So
I wish there would be some regulation to keep kids from spending money on it. Like, just say that it's gambling, because it really is. Especially with, like, Steam things where you can redeem it for money. You're, like, the PubG loot crates. You're spending money to get an item that you hope has a return on it above that $5 that you spent on the crate.
Mm-hmm.
And to say it's not gambling is, well, it's legal. But everyone knows what it is. And I feel like it's wrong to let children do that. And I wanted to really thank you for your position on microtransactions, because I know that I don't think many people do that.
No, it ended up hurting me in the long run, because that's a battle I lost quite badly. And at the end of the day, I just ended up coming off looking like a whiner to a lot of people, which was really annoying. But I'm going to go ahead and bounce out and take some other questions. It was good talking to you.
Good talking to you, too. Could I say real quick?
What's up?
The people like B Dobbins for the win and 8 Thoughts, I'm really pissed off at them. Because, like, B Dobbins is like, oh, microtransactions are terrible. By the way, Drifter's a pussy for saying microtransactions are terrible. I hate people like that. Just want to say that. Yeah.
It's annoying. All right. I'll catch you later, Peter.
See ya. Bye.
All right. Question number 5 from I'm Beans. What's up, man?
What's up? How you doing?
Doing pretty good. Just playing a little bit of Carl on duty here. Checking my bandwidth at the moment. Apparently my YouTube stream has lagged once. Okay, that would explain what happened during that time. Good to know. How are you doing, man?
Doing fine, but I do have this one question about artificial intelligence, though.
Alrighty, I am all ears for you.
I'm wondering, while reading these articles about how Russia claiming that they're really close to approaching, like, prototype artificial intelligence, if you feel that this is ethically right. If this is a threat to society.
So now Russia, you're talking about what Vladimir Putin was talking about, how he who controls AI is going to be controlling the future. Right?
It's something really stupid. Yeah, it was something like that.
Okay. He's not wrong. AI is one of the few fields that hasn't advanced a whole lot recently, and now that we've got different we've got different machine AI learnings, we've got better processing, we got a lot of nice things. AI will grow in the future soon, and whatever nation has the best AI is going to be able to just work circles around the other nations. That's not like a conspiracy, that's like a reality. That's just...
Damn.
No, I mean it is. An AI, a true AI is something that is extraordinarily powerful, and anything that powerful can also be extraordinarily dangerous. Like, a true AI cannot just be smart. It can have thoughts that you could never have. It can think things that you would never know to think. It has answers for 100 questions that you never even knew how to ask. It is way above and beyond what a human being could do. A true AI is probably the most analogous thing that science will ever say could be a god. Like, a true AI is ridiculous. And whatever nation can build something like that, and even better control it, or build a better one than the other one, can dominate anything they want to. If you build a true, powerful AI, strong AI, and you tell it to build weapons to win a war, in all probability, you will win that war, unless there's some sort of extreme deficit that your nation has to overcome that you just can't do by being smart. If you want to know how to make the most money and invest in the stock, if you want to manipulate currencies, if you want to make decisions about billions of data points that you normally wouldn't be able to do, and AI will let you do those things. If you want to try and predict human behavior, there are models and methods and studies, but the general problem with that is there's too much data to take in. There's too much data to understand one person fully, much less hundreds or thousands. But an AI that's so incredibly smart and has giant processors and memory banks and just ability for raw data beyond what we do can do things like that. It can study 1,000 people and understand them in and out to make really powerful predictions about them. And that's where the Russians are not wrong. I don't think the Russians are trying to make their own AI. I think that we're a solid minimum 50 years away from being able to even make a bad version of what I'm talking about. But the idea is that something like that is now possible. So it is a real thing to think about. And that's why Elon Musk and other people are saying that we should have really hard limits on our AI research and technology and be very careful about how we go about it, because if you don't control something like that, it can go out of control. It might make strange decisions on its own. It might determine that people aren't necessary. What's probably even scarier is, imagine a rogue nation invents AI. Imagine, of all things, ISIS invents artificial intelligence first because, I don't know, they have a genius programmer. ISIS gets artificial intelligence, okay? With that ability, ISIS could generate more money, build new weapons, and recruit more vulnerable people than ever before. And they would, if they were not shut down immediately, they could raise one of the most powerful armies you've ever seen in a very short period of time. So it's a big, big deal in my opinion.
Picture a scenario where North Korea gets this type of technology. Do you think that the U.S. or the general world would be threatened by North Korea then?
Extraordinarily threatened. It wouldn't be a day one threat because an AI doesn't have form and it doesn't need time to enact any sort of plan, but it would be extraordinarily threatening in the long run. It would be the biggest threat to a country like ours.
The most kind of not danger, but the most scariest question might be if it's realistic or who will get there first.
Exactly. It's not if it's real. It's if it's who's getting there first. That's serious. That's not a joke. I'm deadly serious about the AI thing, and the reason that people don't care about it is because it is far away in the future, and we as human beings tend not to think that way. That's the same reason we blow off global warming and whatnot, because it's our kids' problem, and also because we've seen AI in like too many science fiction movies. Just a bunch of science fiction movies. It's this neat concept. It'll never happen, like aliens. I think AI is way more likely than aliens or a number of other science fiction concerns.
So what about like a Terminator kind of reality where robots take charge of the world?
Possibly. There's a lot of people that are saying that since we as human beings are no longer evolving due to natural selection, but due to our technological innovation and choices, that memetics, and not making memes, but idea exchange is the new form of evolution, and that sometime in the near future machines will take over and begin doing self-improvements, or we as human beings will augment ourselves and join with machines. It's a little bit far out there in like some transhuman ideas, but I truly don't believe that it's inherently wrong. That we're not, we're not like breeding on who's the biggest, strongest, fastest, best hunter. It's like who's the smartest, who survives best in the modern world, which has entirely different pressures. And machines are going to be able to do that much better. So if we join with machines, then that's going to be the way of the future for people, as crazy as that sounds.
But is it possible to kind of restrict that power to like program AI to not be destructive to human beings?
Yeah, very possible. Because ultimately it's something that we create. And as long as we're creating it, it's going to have flaws. And if we can program it to be nice to people or have it limited, that would be good. What I would do if I were creating AI, I wouldn't put too many limits on the actual raw power, but I would create it in a way that it could not connect to the internet no matter what. And it would also have basically no free range of action on its own. That's a cruel thing. You can read I have no mouth and I Must Scream by Ellison, I think it was, which is the story about an AI that was created to win an endless war and went rogue because the AI hated being a computer. It hated not having form, not having the ability to move, not having a life of its own. It was a really hateful machine. But building it in that way is a way that you can keep it controlled, that you can keep it safe, that you can keep it from reaching out and doing things. It becomes more of a God box, a question and answer machine.
Gets self-aware. What if it doesn't know that you've programmed it to be restrictive?
I don't know, but it should be self-aware. If an AI isn't self-aware, it's not really an AI. Okay, that was a hell of a question. We're going to bounce out. Dude, it was good talking to you. Thank you for giving me a fun one.
Well, it was fun.
I'm going to go back to room number 1 and see what Monofusion has going on. Monofusion, what's up, man? Hello. Monofusion, you there?
Sorry, I muted myself. Before we start, Aisling Laplace wanted me to ask you to fix Q&A 4 because Joshua is right now plugging the hole, but it's currently set as
crap.
for 2 people.
Oops.
Yep.
Fixed it. Sorry about that.
Yeah, okay. Hi Drifter, I'm from Malaysia, and to be honest, I don't normally go on Twitter, so I actually didn't realize about the Malaysia being that kind of situation, you know?
Yeah, it's no worries.
Time. You know, first thing is, I'd like to say that I don't believe that's the majority because, as you know, it's the vocal minority that's always doing these things.
Mm-hmm.
So, and personally, I do believe that everyone have their own taste buds, you know, like in games, in even food. So, honestly, you not liking it is alright with me. So,
Gotcha.
I'd like to start with that first, you know.
Well, thank you.
Okay, so my question is, has there been any anime cartoons that you watched and it was thought-provoking for you? For me, my most recent one would be Psycho Pass, the first season, because of the way they set up the world, the way you're basically controlled by a bunch of brains.
Yes,
essentially.
I've seen that. Psycho Pass got better as it went on. I thought Psycho Pass was a pretty bad anime when I first started watching it, but it really picked up a lot as it continued.
Yeah, I enjoyed it from the start because it actually showed that kind of like hint that there is something a bit weird about it, you know, something not right. That's why I actually like this kind of anime. Have you actually ever watched any anime that actually started making you think about like situations or what
lots
would
of them.
be that?
That's one of the best things about anime is that they can be very thought-provoking. I read mangas as well. I read Blame. Blame, I think, was very thought-provoking. I don't know why this guy didn't die, I just shot. I liked Steins Gate is very thought-provoking. If you want to do thought-provoking, Ghost in the Shell is like a philosophical madhouse. It's a fantastic anime, but I think it's mislabeled. A lot of people pitch it as a... they pitch it as kind of an action show, and while it does have action, that's really not the purpose. It's much more of a philosophical show. And it was incredibly thought-provoking. I can't even remember all the different things that had going on with it and philosophies that would contend. What was another very good one? Full Metal Alchemist had no shortage of that.
Yep, that's right. Another thing I would like to ask is, what's your guilty pleasure game? Games that you play that you know is either bad or not really that great, whether it's mechanically or what, but you still play it because you somehow just want to play it or something like that. You know,
I don't do it as much anymore, but I used to have a lot of guilty pleasure games. I used to play a lot of like Doom, and not the old. I'm talking like old Doom and Redneck Rampage, Carmageddon. A lot of these old like really violent games that were not really good in a lot of ways. Or there were even some of these games that were quite innovative in their own right, but were just content-wise atrocious. But they were just very amusing to play. Sometimes it's just very fun to get on and be bad. Grand Theft Auto is like the perfect one of those. Like you can just get on Grand Theft Auto and just go on a rampage, and it can be very fun and cathartic sometimes, even though it's not like a really highbrow sort of game.
I'm honestly don't really actually enjoy Grand Theft Auto just simply because of the way it's designed. You know, the story is alright, but the way it's designed is just not my type.
Gotcha.
One other thing, like games like Warframe, online, free to play, but very grindy. Are you alright with those kind of games? Because for me, I've been playing Warframe for very long, so technically it's my guilty pleasure kind of game, as in that I don't like grinding already. I've grinded enough time for Warframe, so but I enjoy it because of the way the weapons are, the Warframes play out. So
I really don't like grindy games. I don't like multiplayer games that I have to grind up for. Like, I understand getting unlocks and leveling is important for multiplayer. It's important for a lot of things.
Yeah.
But I don't like a game that I can't play on even footing with people. I played World of Tanks once. I was supposed to do a sponsored deal for it. And I think it was for like $2,000 or $3,000. They wanted me to make one video about World of Tanks and encourage people to play it. And my answer was, give me the game and let me check it out. I haven't really played it. Like, if it's a fun game, I don't have a problem taking a sponsored deal for it. And I played World of Tanks, and I opted out of taking any like special leveling or codes or whatever in the hell they were going to give me. It was just horrible. I mean, the raw gameplay wasn't bad, but it was so out of control grindy that I found it very, very unfun very quickly. My God, I'm trying to remember how this went. Your tanks, you had to train a crew. You had to level up your tank, you had to level up your main experience level, you had to buy fire extinguishers, you had to, there was so much crazy stuff that you had to level up in that game that I played it for like 6 hours and I still never felt that I got even remotely anywhere fun. I would run out of gas, I would just get obliterated. The focus of the game was how many different things we can level and not how fun our core gameplay can be. And that's one of the things that Destiny really burned me on, is I think Destiny actually had really good multiplayer gameplay. I think Destiny was, in a lot of ways, a fantastic game. But the focus of Destiny was never the multiplayer, it was never the balance, it was never a lot of this. It was all about raids and single player and grinding up. And just somebody telling me that, hey, I want you to play this for 8 hours to get this cool gun, which at the end of the day is just an animation thing or like a power spike you don't even get to use properly, is not fun for me. I enjoyed, one of the things I like about PubG is that it's very gameplay oriented. The same thing with Battlefield and COD. You get new toys, but the meat of the game is the game mechanics of the game and not just your toys you get.
Yeah, before we continue on, I'd like to say that Warframe is a mostly PvE game, so the grinding is mostly just for new weapons and leveling them up, and then equipping like power-ups for it and all that. That's mostly it for player versus environment. Just to clarify. But I understand your situation. In regards to gameplay as the experience itself, you know, what games would you see yourself playing just for the experience, just for that gameplay mechanic? For me, I was looking at like Toto Biscuit's take on Tooth and Nail, his video on it, and I actually quite enjoyed it because personally I'm not that kind of like mechanically capable of like micromanaging every single unit of mine in a RTS game. So I personally am interested in Tooth and Nail. So what about you? Tooth and Tail, sorry.
Right. I'd probably play Splatoon, quite a few like Switch games that are fun. I would play, well, Rainbow Six is a very good mechanical game, to be honest with you. Titanfall is all about game mechanics. It's fantastic. I have played that one. There's some games that aren't mechanically intense, but are still unique experiences, like Undertale is a fantastic game. It has no... It's so strange in that it has no real, like, mechanics, but it plays so differently than any other game I've ever experienced. Things like that. Uniqueness is fun. I like fun toys, unique games. And I'm gonna hop out and take another question.
Okay,
I'm done
have a good
shotgunning
day.
people. It's good talking to you. I'm gonna hop out as soon as I'm dead, and I'm dead. Thank you for the fun questions. I appreciate it.
Have a good day.
All right, VA without a job. What's up, dude?
Yo.
Good to hear from you.
Well, I only have a couple of short questions, I guess.
Okay.
I was reading on the internet, and apparently after Infinite Warfare failed, 5% of staff, I believe, was fired. Do you think that was too far for the company to go?
You said 5% of staff?
That's what I've read on the internet. It might be. I know at least some were fired, but even though the company has been successful in the past, was that too much?
If you think that's too much, you really don't want to know the real numbers. I had some people tell me that that was 5% of Activision staff, and when it comes to Infinity Ward, the numbers were higher, we'll say. It was another major turnover from what I heard. I'm not there. I don't have reports. I don't know what they're doing. That's what people told me. It's not high. I know some people quit. Some people get fired, but it's not an unreasonable response because, if my understanding is correct, Infinite Warfare sold less copies than any other recent COD game. It had worse reviews. I don't know how the microtransactions are doing. I know they're not doing trailers for the DLC releases. I know that YouTubers aren't posting it. Black Ops 3 is still the hottest game. I know that.
Yeah.
I think the zombies mode had a bug or something recently. They had to do a hotfix to get it going on. So if you want to reward or punish people based on their performance, you have to agree that Infinity Ward performed poorly, and that therefore they should be punished in some sense, or somebody should be. Somebody has to take the blame for an unpopular and unsuccessful Call of Duty game. And I don't think that that's unfair or harsh. Business is very harsh like that.
Okay. And my other question is, obviously, you've spent a lot of time around the COD community. So, what would you think? How do you think the public would take to a COD game that would have a plan like Destiny? Because Destiny has apparently a 10-year plan with games and expansions. Instead of COD focusing less on multiplayer and a bit more on the single player, or maybe even expansions for more multiplayer stuff, how do you think public would take that?
I truly don't know. I wish I had. I know that's not a great answer, but I feel like the COD community is very splintered, and in a lot of ways very hard to understand. Different people in the COD community want different things. I know people that want jetpacks back. I know people that loved lasers. I just got freaking killed by an RPG. I hate that, but I know people that love that. I know people that play Call of Duty just for the single player, crazy as they may be. I know people that think that Call of Duty should be hardcore. I have diehard military friends that are more upset than you could possibly imagine if guns in the game get the calibers wrong or that you don't die in one shot. There's people that want COD Zombies to be an independent game. The Zombies community is its own thing, full of modding and a lot of crazy fun stuff. But the COD community is massive, and because the COD offering is so diversified, people have grouped around it in very unexpected ways. So I couldn't tell you what the COD community wants, because I don't think the COD community knows what it wants. The COD community is like 6 different communities that are all smushed together in this one game, and that's one of the reasons it's so vitriolic. There's not one thing about Call of Duty that everybody can agree on is good. They're all split up, all wanting different things. I'm being shot here.
Yeah.
I need to be more careful.
Okay. Thanks.
Hope it's a good answer. That is probably not the one you were looking for. Alright, but it was good talking to you, man.
Oh yeah, same.
Being Beast I've already talked to. I'm going to take 2 more questions. Being Beast has already had his turn. I'm going to take Frozen Flame and Acheron. Frozen Flames, what's up, man? Frozen Flames, you there? Hello, Frozen Flame.
Yeah, I'm here.
What's up, man?
Hi, Griffith. So I have 2 questions for you. One pertains to YouTube, and one pertains to Call of Duty specifically. Which one do you want to start with?
Let's stick with COD first, because we're already on that train. Let's do it. What's going on in your brain for COD?
So ever since Ghosts, I've kind of stayed away from Call of Duty. I wasn't interested in Infinite Warfare, Black Ops 3, and as soon as I saw the trailer for Infinite Warfare, I was like, ugh, it's really cringy. But now that I'm seeing the content that you're posting about Call of Duty World War II, I'm starting to get a lot more interested in Call of Duty. Now, I'd like your opinion. What is your opinion on what Call of Duty World War II has done right for the Call of Duty community, and what is the feature of the game that you are most looking forward to?
This is coming in from a very different place than what most people are. The feature that they've done right is not a single feature. The feature that I think Sledgehammer has done better than the other studios is just, like, we'll say fan service. They're listening to the community very, very directly. Treyarch is pretty good about this too, so I can't criticize them in that regard. But Sledgehammer is like, we heard you guys want higher tick rate servers. Sledgehammer is like, we heard you said ranked mode sucked in the last few games. Sledgehammer be like, you all bitched about this thing during the beta, so let's try it the other way around. And they're trying... Well, that's something... I can't talk about that just yet. They're trying a lot of things that they think the COD community wants, because a lot of their developers are former COD players or pro players and stuff like that. So they play Call of Duty and they know where its shortcomings are. And these people also play other games and they know why Counter-Strike is successful. They know why Rainbow Six is growing. And so what they're trying to do is take Call of Duty and make it a modern game again, because for a while it's respectfully been behind. It's been just behind the other big popular games. And Sledgehammer's like, okay, let's try and make COD mainstream again by giving people all these things that they want. And I think that's their big feature that they're offering. And I know that's not a normal one, but does that make sense?
Oh yeah, no, that makes sense. Their Sledgehammer is a much more grassroots developer, so they actually have their finger on the pulse of what the Call of Duty community actually wants.
Mm-hmm.
So then, and this is the second part of that question, what are you personally looking forward to most about Call of Duty World War II? Like, what gameplay aspect?
For me, I want ranked mode. I know a lot of people don't, and they hate competitive and stuff. I don't think that what I'm doing right now, running around in public lobbies, shooting people for no reason, is the future of gaming. This was one time the thing to do in gaming, but it's not anymore. All of the successful games out there have had some sort of ranked mode, which is why PubG is kind of worried about it. That's a different sort of anomaly. But PubG, even without a ranked mode, is very competitive by its nature to get first place and win. The idea of, like, nobody cares about these clans that drop nukes and fat gameplays in public lobbies. Like, congratulations, you're running around shooting casual players that come home and have a beer and want to relax. You're the greatest at murdering people, and I get tired of doing that. I don't derive a lot of satisfaction from murdering people in public lobbies. What I think Call of Duty World War II is going to have is a big focus on ranked mode. And I think that's going to be the core, like the core of Overwatch is you play quick play to get good, to do ranked mode to earn your ranks. League of Legends is the same thing, Counter-Strike is the same thing. If Call of Duty has it to where public lobbies are public, where what I'm playing right now is the casual mode to practice new things, and all your big rewards come from playing ranked, then I think the game is going to absolutely kick ass. If the focus of Call of Duty is doing the same thing it's been doing since 2004, which is run around with like a chicken with your head cut off here in the lobby, it's gonna be boring to me.
Well, isn't Call of Duty a much more casual game? Like, because when I think of Call of Duty, I think of a game that, like you said, you can just drop into after you've had a bad day at work, get on Xbox Live or PlayStation Network with your friends and just chat, have a beer, hang out, and just kind of play casually.
Right, and it can still be that thing. But the point is that casual games are changing. Overwatch is a casual game, PubG, all these Counter-Strike, like the nature of casual is changing. Like people are, I think, getting tired of just YOLOing it, and some of them want more teamwork, some of them want a little bit more challenge, and I think that that's why people are going to the more competitive games. And I don't mean this as a guy, as I'm talking to people, I already hear them type in comments like, you just like the pro players to do head glitches and all that, and I'm like, no, just honestly, who cares how many nukes I could drop against these people in this lobby versus how fun it would be to play against Optic in Grandmaster Elo and show them how good you are against like Nade Shot and all these like actual pro, like how different that scenario could be. And I think that's where gaming's going. Like sitting down at Gamescom and playing next to Seagull was really fun. When I play Overwatch, I play in like Platinum tier, which isn't really high, but really working to win a game is more fun for me than playing quick play where it's like extended team deathmatch. Even Domination here is really extended team deathmatch for the majority of the people that play it.
So you're looking for, so you think you're looking for a much more competitive, tactical, strategic experience in Call of Duty as opposed to running around with a shotgun like a chicken with its head cut off.
Well, I want that strategery to be an option. Like, I'm still going to run around with a shotgun and play in public matches and do things like that. But the point is, that shouldn't be... The pinnacle of Call of Duty should not be getting drunk and running around with a shotgun. That shouldn't be the end-all, be-all high point of the game. Because if that is, then it's a big, silly slapfest, and that's not for me.
All right, so that was my first question. Now my second question pertains to YouTube. So I'm sure you and everybody in the stream are familiar with PewDiePie's latest controversy about using a racial slur in a PubG live stream. Now, because PewDiePie has recently been a very big public figure in the public scene, like, I mean, he got criticized by the Wall Street Journal, and all these major mainstream news agencies are trying to take him down as one of those YouTubers who just runs around and does stupid stuff on the internet. What do you think is the implication? Now, this is going to be a bit of a complex question. So there have been a lot of people on both sides who criticized PewDiePie and who have supported him for free speech. And I think this situation parallels what's going on in the United States and Europe very closely with that free speech is not hate speech kind of thing. So what do you think the implications of this latest outburst of PewDiePie using the N-word on his stream is for freedom of speech?
I don't think it's going to have any freedom of speech implications. That using racial slurs and whatever has always been a sticky point of freedom of speech, and people in Europe and other places have different definitions. If I'm not mistaken, guys, if I get my words a little bit wrong here, forgive me. In Europe and a lot, not all, but a lot of other countries, they have what's called positive freedoms. So when you say freedom of speech, what you mean is freedom to speak and freedom from harmful speech, freedom from being hurt. When you have in Europe, for example, you have freedom from religion. Your freedom is from something. In the United States, we have freedom to speak and freedom to be assholes and racist, and we have freedom to exercise our religion as I see fit. It's very different.
Yeah, so
but-
it's like I think I know what you're going with this. Like Europe has positive freedoms, whereas the United States Constitution was written with negative freedoms in mind. So you have what is it like? You have freedom from government intervention in the way that you speak, the way that you practice your religion,
Correct.
the way that you conduct yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and you have freedom from the government. To take away your firearms and whatnot, and you have freedom from the government. So you don't think that why do you think freedom of speech has become such a hot button issue recently? Like
Because for the first time in all of existence, we have, I'm trying to think about this the right way. We have the internet, so we can all communicate our feelings immediately. We can talk about how butthurt we get immediately. We get upset immediately. And as human beings, we are social creatures. We are geared more for cooperation than competition. We tend not to rock the boat, generally speaking. And and we also, our public education system sucks. Public school sucks. Civics, the values of the United States of America, constitutional law and understanding, civil, like legal process, all this sort of stuff is not taught very well. So people don't understand the importance of the precedent of freedom of speech, not the president, but the precedent, the reason we have it. They don't understand the long-run implications of things. And it's always been this way to an extent. I think it's gotten slightly worse recently. Like, if let's say I'm super president of the United States, sort of, or whatever, and I can just pass a law making it illegal to be a Nazi. You just can't be a Nazi. That's not, you can't go to a Nazi rally. That's not, you can't dress up. That means it's illegal for you to hold a belief that's considered a Nazi belief. You just can't have those beliefs.
And then
period.
It gets kind of sticky because then you get into like, oh, well, what defines being a Nazi?
Yep. And it also turns into who defines what it means to be a Nazi. And more importantly, if I'm super president and then I die, and let's say there's another group that comes along that's worse than Nazis, or then we like, okay, well, we have this precedent. It's super Nazis. We once made it illegal to be this thing. We can make whole beliefs illegal. And that's fine and dandy the second time. But then the third guy that comes around and comes to power is just honestly self-interested, absolute dirtbag, and he gets enough support and he's like, man, let's make it illegal to be whatever my competition is. And that's a similar thing that Nazis did. They made it illegal to be Jewish, basically. I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off. And that was one of the things that Nixon talked about. If you go read his old stuff about the drug war, they wanted to clamp down on hippies and people in the Democratic Party, but they found that they couldn't make it illegal to be black or poor or a hippie. So what they did instead was they made it illegal to enjoy the things that that group enjoys, namely a lot of the drugs in the country. That's what started the drug war. You don't want to set a precedent of saying that you can't have beliefs, not because I think the world would be a much better place if there were no Nazis. I'm not bullshitting you guys. Like, if Nazis stopped existing tomorrow, if all of them got Nazi cancer and just died, that would be good for pretty much the whole world.
That would be the general consensus.
Yeah, but that being said, if you make it illegal for them to have these thoughts, then you get the thought police. You get 1984. It gets scary. It gets spooky. And very few people take that sort of consideration forward. That's why you have safe spaces. That's why you have a pushback on the left. And for the first time that I've been alive, at least, and I think in human history, being a social justice warrior, fighting for change, not discriminating, is a value. For as long as I can remember, just supporting your own group has been the high value. If it's a philosophy, if it's a racial group, if it's a culture, if it's an artist group, it's like looking after your own is the thing to do, and your group is the good group. But now we have an idea that everything is okay and acceptable, and because of that, the highest value you can ascertain to, because it goes against your natural human group dynamics, is non-discrimination. So the less you discriminate, the higher that value is. I kind of lost my point here. But we...
And that's the reason why freedom of speech has become such a problem, because there's been that shift from that kind of only associating with your group to, well, everybody's group is good. I mean, I can't discriminate against everyone else's group, but there's still kind of that tribal group thing.
They're discriminating against the discriminators, which gets very paradoxical. For example, guys, in the chat, I'm going to go ahead and throw some crazy stuff at you. Get ready. Let's say I don't like Chinese products. Period. And I've had this discussion on my channel before with other subs, and they got very mad at me and called me racist. I think Chinese products, in general, are poorly engineered. I think Chinese engineers, because of the companies they work for and their business pressures, don't do a lot of safety and quality testing and engineering. I don't know if you realize how many Chinese engineers I've met that don't know what a normal distribution for safety is. And that's just because of the pressures from their government and the companies they work for to meet that bottom dollar price. That's their competition point, so they don't even teach them these things. Because of that, I don't like Chinese products. Now, the reason there is I don't not like Chinese products because I don't like Chinese people. My wife is Chinese. That would be stupid. It's just because I have experience and beliefs about how they're made and they don't match up with my own. But if somebody were to step up in the chat and say, that's racist, you're discriminating against Chinese people, there's reasons they make it that way for cultural or for whatever, and we get into a public debate about it. The reasons for why I don't like these things or anything else kind of melts away, and it becomes this sort of whoever takes the higher grandstanding of least discrimination is okay. Which is why you have feminists now supporting Islam and the burqa and stuff like that. Even though it's literally oppression against women, it becomes a moral grandstanding because they get higher like social points for saying they're not discriminating against Muslims because they get a lot of discrimination now. And it's kind of skewed the values to where the more you can shut down inappropriate behavior that hurts people's feelings, the higher social status or moral status you have. But that runs in the face of our freedom of speech laws. Even the freedom of speech has always been controversial. It's always been kind of a law for shitlords in a sense. And it has to be that way because even unpopular ideas need to be discussed. Like, if you need to have a shitty idea and discuss it with somebody for us to all agree it's a shitty idea. But if you have ideas and you are not allowed to discuss them, if they're not allowed to be talked about or in any capacity, then there's no way to know it's a shitty idea. There's no way to shut it down. But the converse would be it's bad for bad ideas to spread like Nazism. So it's a very complex issue. You've got me going on in a long tangent here. You've got me way going off.
All right, I think I'll leave it there and let the next guy do his piece. I just wanted to say thanks, and it's really awesome. Like, you're one of the few YouTubers that I see interacting this personally with their audience, and I just want to say that I really appreciate that.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it. All right, Acorans, what's up?
Oh, hey, man.
Okay, I've been trying to think of the right way to pronounce your name ever since I've seen you on the stream. What's the right way to do it?
Acorons.
Acorons, got it.
All right,
it's not acorns like acorns, it's acorons.
Yeah.
Gotcha. What's up, dude?
So I was wondering, what is your favorite paradox?
Probably the grandfather paradox. That's more of a scientific one and less of a philosophical one. But the grandfather paradox I find to be quite fun because it plays with all of our known laws of causation. Are you familiar with it?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you mind telling the stream real quick just to give a... So we're all on the same page here?
So it's basically if you go back in time and kill your grandfather, you're not able to go back in time, kill your grandfather. Am I getting that right?
Yes. If you build a time machine and you go back in time and kill your grandfather, or you could even do it better, you could kill your father, you wouldn't exist, right? Because if you didn't have a father, you wouldn't be born. But then if you weren't born, how can you build a time machine to go back in time and kill your father? Question mark. And it's a really fun paradox as a thought experiment. It shows some of the, if you really follow it down, it shows some of the stranger things about causation, just like what causes what and why time flows the way it does. It ties into thermodynamics, and in a different way it will also show the limits of our science. Because of things like that, time travel might not be possible, because you would get an impossible scenario like the unstoppable force and the immovable object colliding when neither can exist in the same frame of reference.
Right.
So it becomes a really fun one to think about. There's some very neat solutions. My personal favorite solution is that if you go back in time and kill your grandfather, everything works out fine, but you turn into a different person. Like, you'll come back into the future and like you'll look different and have different genes and genetics, and you'll have like a different body because your grandmother married a different man. But because the universe has to be self-sufficient or self-contained, it worked out a way for you to still invent a time machine. Maybe that's a fun solution. Maybe you do some kind of tomfoolery that destroys the whole universe. Maybe you create a paradox. Maybe it causes a black hole. Maybe you kill your grandfather and everything's fine because causation doesn't work the way we think it does. Maybe it's not tied together as strongly. Maybe it's impossible to actually travel in time, but you're just bouncing to a different universe that was slightly delayed, so you kill a guy that's identical to your grandfather, but not your actual grandfather, a la Rick and Morty. Yep. Complicated.
Yeah, very. I also had another question. If there was something... Well, what do you think is wrong with the SR system in Overwatch, and how would you fix it?
I think the SR system doesn't reward people that swap characters very much. If you swap to fill and you just try to make your thing work, it doesn't reward you nearly as much as specializing. And I also dislike that when you do your placements, it's impossible to improve. If you win 10 out of 10 placements, all it does is put you right back where you started. The whole system is gamed around keeping you down, it feels like. Like, even if winning games is the most important, but even if you win games, it judges you based on your individual performance. So if you really struggle and fight hard and still win, it doesn't reward you as much as just stomping. So it's kind of weird like that.
Okay, so how would you go about fixing it?
I don't know, honestly. That's a very difficult question. I don't have an answer for that one on the fly. Sorry.
Alright.
Let's see, what do we got here? I am trying to unlock some weapons. I think I need to get these Lion Strike things. One of these was it. Yeah.
Would you ever consider going stream only?
I have considered it, yes.
Times.
I like streaming a lot more than YouTubing, but in order to do that, I would probably need to be more donation and sponsor heavy and stuff, which is unfortunate because it's nice that my income now is based almost entirely on ad revenue, so I don't have to worry too much about asking people for donations or sponsorships or subscriptions and stuff like that. So if I went stream only, I would really have to change up the ask portion for my audience. And that is going to be it, dude. It was good talking to you.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of questions today. All right, guys. I have had a lot of questions today. Some good ones, some bad ones, some interesting ones. A lot of people to come in and talk to me. I hope you had a good time watching. I hope you enjoyed the stream. I hope you enjoyed the live Q&A. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe, or follow on Twitch. Drifter out.